Summon Sign is brought to you by you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 29 of Summon Sign, Last Stand Media's weekly in-depth gaming discussion podcast. I'm your host, as always, Brad Ellis, and joining me this week is a full crew, a full stack. We got Gene Park. Gene, how you doing?
Good. Crazy weekend, as we'll talk about, right? But yeah.
Yes. Craziest weekend. Ben Smith. What's up, Ben?
Hello. Greetings.
Crazy weekend for Ben.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
And of course, our boy Lockmort joining us as well.
Hello. Our president didn't get assassinated, so I'm good. Calm weekend for me.
Neither did ours, too. But
No, that's true. Oh, yeah, that's
It's
true.
close, but yeah,
Good
not
boy.
quite. But yeah, this weekend someone tried to assassinate former President Donald Trump in Ben Smith's hometown and Dustin's. A lot of people are writing in saying, what did Dustin do? What was that boy up to? Kind of stuff like that. But Ben, as a man there, what was the vibe like? What was going on?
give us your background, too, Ben, because you have a very, very strong connection to Butler, right? So tell us about your work history, just in case people don't know. You know, there are some new patrons and new listeners. So
I've been a business owner in Butler, and I was also the mayor of Butler for 4 years, and only ran for one term. Now, granted, where this all happened was like 5 minutes outside of Butler, but still, obviously, you know, it's impacted, and there's stuff, you know, plenty of people coming in from out of town, having, I was downtown having lunch and coffee and everything with Dustin, actually, that afternoon. And there were tons of people coming into town, like, there early to, you know, just to get ready to go. So, yeah, it was kind of a wild weekend. Sirens everywhere. The motorcade, when they were taking him to the hospital, passed, like, on the street in front of my house. Which is kind of wild. So in 2020, I was in office and he was in Butler. Trump was in Butler when he was the president. Yes, he was in Butler as the president, attempting to be reelected. And because I was the mayor, I got invited to go. And it was like last minute that they kind of announced it, like within a couple of days. And I had family in town, and it was on trick or treat night. And I really weighed it pretty heavily because I've always said, whether I love the person or hate the person, you know, I would want to meet a sitting president. Like, that's just cool to meet the leader of the country. It doesn't matter if you like him or not. I think that's a cool thing. And I was really struggling with it, but because it was such short notice and because it was trick or treat night, and I'm like, I only got so many opportunities with my kids. And ultimately that was more important to me than going, because they even told me, like, you'll be able to go to the tent and meet the president and some other people. And I opted out. And in my head, I just keep thinking, like, you know, if I were still mayor, if I decided to run again, if I was there, I would have been in the stands where the people who got injured were, because that's where they put all, like, the friends and family and everything. And it's just weird. That's all. It's weird. Granted, it's, you know, it's 4 years removed. It's not like I was anywhere near close to it. But the funny thing is, I was pressure washing my house, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go sit on the porch swing, grab a drink of water. And I pulled up my phone, and I realized that the rally was about to start. And I was like, you know what? I probably should go back and power wash some more. But I know, like, a lot of the law enforcement that was there. And I probably, just by virtue of being a citizen of the area, I'm going to be able to recognize people in the crowd. That'll be cool to watch. You know, I've been to that farm show grounds. I've stood in the very spot where his podium was, where the snipers that you keep seeing replays of were perched. Like, I've pet cows in there before, like during the farm shows. It's like, it'd just be cool to see a national event, like, on an area I'm really familiar with. And then that happened, and I was like, it was just weird that I even watched it, because that normally I'd, like, you know, see some clips or something later. But yeah, I don't know, just a weird weekend for me. And of course, my phone and DMs and everything have been blowing up from all the people who were checking in on me, which I appreciate, of course. But yeah, I was perfectly safe at home, but then heard sirens going crazy right next to me. And yeah, it was wild day.
Yeah, rest in peace to Corey. Gosh, what's his? How do you pronounce his last name?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Comparator.
Yeah,
I haven't hearing it, but
we
rest in peace to Corey.
Yeah, he was someone that was in a joined meeting I was in one time, like of all the local fire departments in the county.
Wow, yeah,
he
was a fire chief, former fire chief, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would never say I knew him by any means, but I definitely met him before. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Gene, since you work at the Washington Post, what was the vibe like there? Anything you want to say about it?
Yeah, well, just before the call, I actually asked Ben. I was like, Ben, as a Washington Post reporter, I have to ask, do you know anything about the shooter? And then Ben reminded me, oh yeah, the shooter actually came out from just outside of town, so
right.
He wouldn't know.
And even if he hadn't, I don't know, 16 years removed from, so chances are I wouldn't have known them anyway. But yeah, it came in from out of town.
How long ago were you mayor?
I left office at the beginning of 2022.
Okay, wow, very recent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're just a bunch of my colleagues were there at Butler, including our photographer Jabin Botsford, and he was one of the photographers. He didn't get the money shot that the Associated Press did. Evan Vucci.
Yeah.
So that was a money shot with the American flag in the background. He didn't get that, but he did get a clear shot of Trump's side of the face, and he was just right there in front of the stage. And I know Jabin very well, and I know a lot of the reporters there. Rachel Scott of CBS News, she was ducking for cover, live on TV. It was crazy to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knew a lot of people. I knew a lot of people there just through work, and it's wild. I can't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's gonna happen. This is unprecedented times. We've never seen. It's been it's been since Reagan, right? Since we've had an assassination attempt, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, one that we've known about,
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
The
81.
There are many that have been prevented. Of course, the most famous one recently was the kidnapping of Gretchen Whitmer,
right,
in Michigan. That was prevented. But yeah, one that just went through. So I think right now our reporting is saying that Homeland Security, just dropped the ball, on this. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because, I live in Washington, D.C., and we have counter snipers all over the place,
Yeah.
So just seeing those sniper rifles on the roof is just a normal thing, which is why it continues to befuddle me why they didn't have a lot of the grounds covered, including that particular rooftop that the shooter was on. It's a little strange. They're usually better than that, but I guess sometimes Secret Service isn't that good though. The Washington Post got a Pulitzer Prize in 2018 for reporting on Obama's Secret Service and how they were just kind of literally just fucking around, getting drunk, doing drugs, and fucking hookers. Which fair play, but yeah, that was the entire story. All they were doing were just fucking hookers and getting smashed. And it was a huge security threat. So Secret Service, they may look like Stonewall Chads, but they're just a bunch of weirdos too. So we're all human, that's what it takes. And I do hate this idea, and because RNC is happening right now, right? It's about to gear up, and I'm watching Newsmax, and a lot of people saying oh, this was divine intervention for Trump. I get that, and I as a Christian, I understand that thinking, but think about Corey, man. What about his divine intervention? You hear that scream right after the shots ring out. Horrifying, blood curdling.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that was someone that was nearby Corey.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very serious and depressing thing that happened, but hopefully, I don't know. We'll see what happens as time unfolds. We'll learn more about everything. So I don't know. It is what it is right now. We'll just keep going. Because Trump's still going.
or we won't learn anything, just like we haven't in 60 years. About
that's maybe that too, Ben. I don't know.
Sorry, I am the slightest bit of. I used to be a really big conspiracy theorist. Now I'm not, but I think it was real, by the way. But who knows what
no,
else.
it was totally real.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that someone died, I was like, okay, well, that's real then. You would not want collateral damage like that. You know.
Yeah. I just don't think
100%.
I just got confused about JFK.
One of the craziest comments I see is that Trump's plot armor is insane.
That's true. That is true.
Well, I mean, honestly, and I see that sentiment like on the left too. Like, man, like Trump is one of the luckiest men to have ever like been birthed.
High luck stat, dude.
Yeah,
extremely high. Level 99 arcane stat.
Critical role
on Elden Ring. Discovery high. Very high discovery.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good poise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, guys.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I'm sure we'll talk about it more. People will more on other shows, so you can look forward to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, you can hear Dustin's alibi,
Yeah, Dustin's.
He was like, "Oh yeah, I was completely somewhere else besides having coffee with Ben. So listen for that. If he says anything else other than I was having coffee with Ben,
well, not at the moment. I'm not giving Dustin an alibi. I wasn't with him.
Oh shit!
No, that was like 5 hours earlier.
Oh
Dustin already tweeted where he was at the time.
Sure, yeah, sure. He tweeted where he was. Yeah,
I mean, you could tweet
That's easy
anytime.
to fake.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Ben's lying. How do you know Ben is not lying?
Oh shit!
Go look at the side of my house. You'll see the pressure washing. You'll know it was real.
But yes, this is Summit Sign, our weekly in-depth game discussion podcast. If you want to support us and all of our other Last Stand Media shows, please head over to patreon.com/laststandmedia. We're on all those podcast services you're into, Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. So leave us a review on there if you enjoy the show. Laststandmedia.store if you want to get some merch. All here, Micah ships all that out to you personally if you want to get some packages delivered by Micah. And our live show coming up in San Diego. Ben, do you recall what the link is for that if people want to purchase tickets?
bit.ly, so bit.ly/Sacred Dukes.
Sacred Dukes. It's going to be fun. I've talked to Ben a little bit about our plans for it. It's going to be exciting. I'm very excited. But yeah, San Diego, I'm pumped because it's close for me. I can just drive in there. No problem. All right, boys, let's warm up with some questions from the audience. James Solar wrote in. This one's for me. Hey, gents, I'm writing in to issue an apology to Brad. 2 weeks ago, I gave the gang a hard time for not playing or being interested in Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Stop right there. I said I was interested in Luigi's Mansion HD, just not $60 interested right now. I like Luigi's Mansion, but not $60 right now. I'm a huge fan of the first game, and I've never played the second, so I was very excited to check it out on Switch. I played it, and it sucks. I'm curious to hear Gene's thoughts, and I hope he's not still stuck on the John Wick 4 stairs. Best, James S. Oh, we will get into Gene's impressions. Fear not. $60 for that game? How you feeling about that, Gene?
You know what? So people who know me that will know that I've always defended like the regular price on like a re-release. Like The Last of Us Part 1 being re-released. I think that should be $60-$70, right?
Yeah.
Because again, I said before, when movies are re-released, when you want to buy the Godfather trilogy, you're not going to get it for $10 just because it came out in 1972. You're going to get it for $30-$40, and it's going to be remastered. It's going to be HD 4K, and the 4K master on the Godfather trilogy is exceptional. The UHD version. So I definitely recommend that. But Luigi's Mansion 2 was $40 though, right?
More expensive now than when it came out.
And to James's point, I don't think, and we'll talk about it more later. I don't think it sucks, but I don't think that they did a lot to improve that much to justify 60, 50, maybe 50. Yeah. I would think, okay, yeah, that's fine. It is a Switch game. Everything is up-res. That's cool. 60, I think, is a little high. I agree with everyone there, where it's like $40, $60 is a little too much. I get it. I get that.
Yeah, Nintendo loves to just charge everything for $60, which is smart. But if some games, I'm like, oh yeah, $60, sure, I'll pay it again. It's expensive, but Tropical Freeze, I did it because it's one of the best fucking platformers ever made. Any Zelda thing I'll do because it's Zelda. But some games, I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
All right, this is from Caleb Peacock. Yo, boys. if you're making some video game commandments developers had to follow, what would they be? For me, unlimited sprint is a must and no deteriorating weapons. Thanks. Locks would be no weeb characters.
Right. Yeah.
Well, of course, but that goes without saying. I would also implement like a no weight limit to whatever you could pick up. If it's like an RPG, I hate that shit. And I think unlimited ammo is also good, or like weightless ammo then. But that kind of works together, I guess. So no weight would be my answer.
Yeah. Ben, what about you? What commandment?
I'm in line with what Locke said about the weight limit, just because like I'm already carrying. If you look at your weight limits in a game and you think about how much you're carrying, you're already carrying way more than you could in real life. So why not just make it unlimited? But my number one would be I hate sprint. I love sprinting. I hate what's it called when you have like a bar that goes down when you're sprinting and
stamina bar.
Stamina. Thank you, stamina bar. I already have enough problems with stamina in my real life. You know, I don't need it in video games too. Just let me run around. Either let me run or don't let me run, but let me do it all the time or none of the time. That's all I'm saying. Can't stand it.
Gene, what about you?
I don't know. It's hard because like I feel like a lot of the things are like very genre specific. So like you know, I hate hunger meters. I hate any game with a hunger meter, right? But that's very, very like integral to like the survival genre, right? So, you know, I mean, to be quite honest, I don't really like survival games, you know, because a lot of them do have hunger meters. I get hungry all the time. I'm hungry right now, you know. So I don't want to have to deal with it. And it also sucks because like it's always like on the video game time, which is accelerated. So like you get hungry in like 30 minutes, and it's like that's not how like real life works. You know, right. I'm good for like maybe 6-7 hours. You know, why can't I get hungry in 6-7 hours? If that's the case in a survival game where I'm getting hungry every 6-7 hours, I'll deal with that, you know. But it's always accelerated where every minute is an hour, and then so I'm just like, oh, I guess I'm hungry in 6 minutes. Then fuck that.
Yeah,
you know, not a great answer. No,
that's a fine answer. Everyone's got their own taste. Mine would be not something like a gameplay mechanic. It would be I'm so sick of. I've gotten burned by this a couple times in my life. This is something that Atlas still does. They have a version of game come out. Let's say Persona 5 comes out. Then they do Persona 5 Royal. Whatever, that's fine. New editions, all that good stuff. However, if you have to buy the game all over again to get that version. You have to spend full price to get that version. Instead of just letting you buy like an add-on DLC pack that upgrades it to that or whatever. I hate that kind of shit. That happened to me with Dragon's Dogma 1 back in the day. I mean, Capcom used to do it all the time. Like Street Fighter's like so many versions of Street Fighter. And in a day where DLC is so common, I'm just like, why are you guys doing this to me, man? I mean, I get why, because people spend money, but it's like, please, Atlas, just don't do that. Please don't, because Metaphor's coming out. 2 years later, they're going to do Metaphor Omega Sapphire Edition or something. And you're going to have to spend $50 or $60, $70 again just to get that new content.
Yeah.
I'm sick of that shit.
And it comes out like really quickly afterwards, right? That's the problem, you know?
Yeah. It's just, it's so annoying, guys.
With Persona, didn't they also do it next gen, also full price? Like I remember somebody told me I should buy Persona 5, which I did, but never mind. But then I also bought 5 Royal, and then the PS5 version came out, and I was like, "Well, okay, now I'm never gonna play it."
Yes, they did. There was 5, then there was Royal on PS4 and like whatever. Then they did the ones with like Switch, Xbox, and PS5. Yeah,
right.
So they double fucked you over.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you could upgrade from Royal to that. That I don't know, Locke. But if you can't, that really sucks.
I don't think you can. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think you can. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It's Atlas. That's Atlas's way, unfortunately. But yeah, that sucks ass, dude.
I'm looking it up right now. Can you? No. There's no upgrade, and you can't transfer save data.
Why, guys? Like you do so well in so many fields, and you just keep continuously bought shit right there.
I guess it kind of makes sense that if you can't upgrade, you also can't transfer your save data, because then you're basically admitting, well, if the save data transfers, it's the same game. So if they really want to justify it, then sure they can. But yeah,
I know, but it's like you shouldn't have to justify that. Is
right,
what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You should just be cool,
right,
and reward the people. Like you could charge them an upgrade fee, just not the whole 10, $20, whatever. Not a whole fucking brand new game price though. I don't know. I mean, and it's annoying because those games are so good, but it's just something you gotta. Every time I buy an Atlas game, I'm like, well, there's gonna be a new version in 2 years that I'll have to start over to get the new content. So that's fun.
Mm.
All right. Speaking of fun, boys, let's talk about the Concord beta.
Oh, it's a game that we're all here for.
Well, yes, we've all played Concord. I've played like a little over 2 hours. I'm not sure how much you guys have played, but Ben, let's start with you. I think you've played maybe quite a bit, actually, more than I have.
Yeah. I played. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Just for people to know, if you don't know what Concord is, you probably do. PlayStation's new Firewalk, their PlayStation Studios Firewalk. It's their first game. FPS multiplayer hero shooter. It's coming out. Closed beta happened. Closed/free beta. Game comes out next month, so people are playing it, and we've all played it. But Ben, sorry for interrupting. Please tell us about your experience with it.
Yeah, so you mentioned the playtime. According to Steam, which I played on Steam, I've got about 7.5 hours.
Wow.
And that was over 2 days, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was how long the beta was. And then I think, judging by that, you could probably assume that I liked it. Also, part of it was I was literally just watching the news on Saturday night, just playing Concord while I was like absorbing the news. So that was part of it as well. But I I gotta say, I don't dislike this game as much as everyone else seems to. And I'm sure there are other people out there who like it, but I think it's fun, and I think it might even be good. Now, in fairness, I know a lot of people are like, I don't care about the characters, and I think that's one of Brad's main critiques.
Yes.
And the reality is, I don't either, but I don't need that for me to like a shooter. If it's a story-based game, I need to like the characters, or else I'm not in it. But honestly, like I really like Overwatch. At least I used to. I mean, I just haven't played in a while, and I watched the shorts and I thought they were good, but I never actually cared about those characters. They didn't mean anything to me. They just each had different cool abilities. And that's very much the way I feel about Concord, is that I think it's pretty good. I think there's a lot of weapon balancing that needs to happen. There's a few ability balancing things that need to happen. And that's going to not only happen before the game comes out, but that's going to continue for as long as the game exists, because that's how all of these shooters work. But as far as hero shooters go, I thought it was pretty solid. Now, there's two things, though, I'm worried about with it, and I think most of us probably share this, is that, one, I don't think the game has something to make it unique. In other words, if I'm an Overwatch main, why would I switch to this hero shooter over any other hero shooter? Because it doesn't really add anything to the game. It's just a shooter with multiple different characters with different qualities. And for me, that is fine, because it's just another game that's a different audience to some extent. But I don't know that helps it sell copies. And then the other thing is, this day and age, we're very much presented with like so many free-to-play games, especially free-to-play hero shooters. You've got Overwatch, which arguably is the best. Overwatch 2, sorry, the fake 2 at the end, I don't know. You've got Overwatch 2, which has been around for so long. You have so many skins, probably, if you've been playing. You have so much time in that game. You probably have made friends in that game. And yeah, it has its set of problems, but why switch from something like Overwatch 2 to Concord? And Concord isn't doing anything that's remarkably different. And so for $40, I'm like, well, why? Because I can just keep playing it. So I think, as much as none of us really love microtransactions, if a game is free to play, I'm probably actually going to end up spending money. Most free-to-play games, I end up spending money. Locke and I both were playing the finals, and I loved the finals when it came out. It became immediately too sweaty for me, and I just couldn't stand it. Locke and I, like on the first day the game actually came out, we were like, yeah, let's buy the Battle Pass. I literally never logged in after that again.
No, me neither.
And I actually installed it on my new computer, just because I was like, well, maybe I'll give it another shot. But my point is that, like, I'm much more likely to spend money on microtransactions, which I guarantee Concord will have, if the game is free. And if the game is not free, it needs to be a $60 game or $70 game now. If the game does not have microtransactions, then make it full price, make it whatever. and do what you got to do. But like, I just think that the barrier to entry of the $40 price tag for a game that is just getting trounced right now is gonna kill it. So those are my two big concerns with the game as far as industry type talk. Is it doesn't have anything special that makes you want to play it more than another hero shooter, and that it is a free to play model with a mid price range. Or mid-range price, and I just don't understand what they're thinking. But as far as the game goes, I like it. I like all the different modes. I actually the two modes that you and I were playing the other night, Brad, I played those a good bit more. But then there's also two other modes that are in the game. They're both like kind of capture points, capture different things, and they're more limited respawn. So you actually have to kind of think about what you're doing. You pick one character, and then after you die, you're dead until the next round. And in the next round, you can't pick the same character again, at least in one of those modes. So I like that aspect of like they're constantly making you change. It's kind of like Mystery Heroes in Overwatch, but a little different. You can still pick your character, but you can't keep picking the same character. Forces you to be a little more dynamic with your gameplay and add some cool elements because you're not just rushing in and, oh, well, I died, whatever. You're actually having to think a little bit more about, if I die here, I don't come back until the next round. So I thought the different game modes were interesting. I'm
curious about that capture point one. Did you notice more, I guess, team synergy during it? Because from what I played with you, it's like, there's multiple hero types, but it didn't seem as important as other hero shooters from the modes we were playing because it was just kind of scatterbrain, Call of Duty, run and gunning.
They didn't force you into anything like some games will do, some hero shooters will do, where they'll force you into specific roles. But I did notice because when it introduces it, each character or each player has a chance. Like you get 10 seconds to pick your character, and then it moves on to the next person. You're not all just picking it once. So I think that encourages you to see okay, they picked this kind of character, and it should. But here's the thing that really made me notice that there was something different. In all of the games that I played in the Infinite Respawn, I never once heard anyone chat in voice. Not a single time. Every time I played in one of those non-respawn games, whatever mode they were, immediately voice comms. And I was like, I'm not talking. Sorry, I'm watching the news, literally is what I was doing. But I was like, people were like, all right, mic check. Anybody get a mic? And people are like, okay, I'm picking this. So they're actually, immediately I saw different strategy just because of the different game type.
That's cool.
Which is cool. But again, I'm just not sure if that matters with this game. I think those modes will develop and people will develop strategies and you'll start seeing the perfect team build outs and everything. But so I mean, I like it. I just don't know if I'm going to buy it, honestly.
Right.
Why am I going to buy this game? Well, give me a reason to buy this hero shooter.
Yeah, I think that's the way a lot of people feel about it. Lockmort, I don't know what you think about this game at all. Tell us about it.
Well, I think I've mentioned it before on this show that I play Overwatch every single day. I have been for the past
crazy.
For the past
wow. Okay, did not know that.
2016. Yeah. I have a couple of friends in LSM, and we play Overwatch every single day. We never miss a day.
Wow.
So I just played it before we started recording here too. I love Overwatch, but Overwatch is bad in a good way. Like they keep making the game worse and worse. Like they keep implementing new heroes that are broken so that you will buy the battle pass, get the new hero quicker, and then you get to win more. And so they kind of break the game, maybe not really on purpose, but kind of on purpose. And they implement these new rules. Like we always play with the four of us, but now they have this new rule that you can play ranked with the four of you because that's not fair to the one random person that joins your team. So that's very annoying to us. So one of us always has to sit out. And there's just these little annoyances with Overwatch that keep piling up over the years. So most people I know, including myself, who plays Overwatch religiously, is like waiting for the next Overwatch. Like we're all ready to jump to the next game because Overwatch is already 8 years old by this point too. So we were really hyped for Concord. At least I was, and a couple of my friends too. But then I jumped into Concord and I realized that it is absolutely nothing like Overwatch in no way whatsoever, except it has heroes.
Right.
That's it. Overwatch is very fast-paced. Overwatch is objective-based. Overwatch, like you mentioned before, needs to have synergy. You have healers, you have DPS, you have tanks. This game is just do whatever. Go. Have fun. And then Overwatch, like I said, is very fast paced, and Concord seems very slow. Like every character I played, I tried all of them a bunch of times. I think I have. Let me check. I think I have 6 hours in the game, which doesn't seem real, but I guess I do. Every character moves like they have lead in their shoes, which is very weird for a hero shooter because you need to have like diversity in movement, I think, which is very important. Of course, the green skin guy, I don't know their names, but the green skin guy moved a little faster, of course, and there were a couple of others that moved faster, but it's still pretty slow compared to Overwatch.
Block, let me interrupt you real quick. Did you adjust your FOV?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's the first thing I do in every game. Okay. Of course. Yeah.
I just want to make sure because I heard that from some people and I told them to adjust their FOV and they were like, "Oh, this does change it." Now I still agree with you. I think overall it's slow, but it's even slower.
Well, it's slow compared to Overwatch. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, my FOV is the first thing I change in every single game. That's why I love PC more than console, because PC lets you actually do that in most games. But yeah, the characters are diverse and that's fun. And some of the characters have fun abilities, like the old Asian lady with the wolves. That was my favorite. I like playing her because you could like block people in, and that's pretty funny and that's pretty fun to play. But there's no incentive, like there's no goal, there's no team synergy, like Ben already mentioned. So I bought it on Steam so I could get the beta key, and then I wanted to refund it, which I now realize I passed the hour mark to do that. So that was very stupid of me. So now
so you're stuck with it.
I'm stuck with Concord.
They won't let you do it even after a beta?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it was the beta I played, not the real game. So I can refund it. Thank God.
Okay.
Thank you. But I had to buy the game to get into the beta, of course.
Yeah.
So I don't see how this is going to work for them. Like Ben already mentioned, I don't see how this game differentiates itself. I guess Valorant is like a better comparison than Overwatch.
Valorant's like more like Counter-Strike than this.
Yeah. Well, that's a. I think to me it felt more like Destiny. So if you're really into Destiny, maybe there's something for you there. But to me, as like an Overwatch guy, like I love Overwatch, this is just not for me. But I get that it's. You know what? This is gonna sound stupid, maybe, but I think it targets kids really well. Maybe it's really fun for kids because it has like these wacky heroes and these wacky stories, and there's
very
not really.
Bright.
It's very bright. You don't really have to think about what you're doing. Like it's very easy. You're just in an arena, or you're like capturing. Well, not really. Yeah, you're kind of capturing a point. So it's pretty easy. You don't really have to think. There's no team synergy, like Ben said. Nobody's talking. Just go have fun. Just go what you want to do. So maybe to kids it will work, but as like a big PlayStation exclusive, I guess, even though it's also on PC, I don't see this working. I don't think this will be a new Helldivers 2. No.
Block, the little bit of pushback I get, and I'm saying pushback even though I agree with everything you're saying, is that one, I've played a lot of Overwatch solo, and it's very much the same thing where nobody's working together, nobody's talking. So I do think, and at the begining of Overwatch...
You have to. Overwatch a few years ago. Overwatch implemented it. You have to pick a role at the beginning, so you're forced to work together.
To pick the role, but I just mean that there's no synergy as far as like people talking and everything like that. But at the beginning of Overwatch, I played, at the very beginning, just like you did, and I remember it being very much the same. Like everybody's just playing Call of Duty. They're just playing team deathmatch. Nobody's actually doing anything. So I think that if the game can survive long enough, that can develop with that game. But it's obviously not going to be there now. And I don't think the game encourages it now, is the difference.
Well, the difference between Overwatch and Concord is that Concord so far is an arena shooter to me, which Overwatch never was. Overwatch always had objectives to complete.
Right.
Like, the points you have to capture, you have the payloads that you have to go through. So that is the big difference for me. I think if Concord has like a payload map or like a payload mode, maybe that would be different for me, but they didn't put that in the beta, so I can't say. But that is the main difference with Overwatch to me, is that in Overwatch you have a clear objective. If you don't work together, the game is not fun. While in Concord, who cares? Just go kill people. Bye.
The two different modes that I played, so the modes you and I played the other night, Brad, were essentially team deathmatch and
kill confirmed.
Kill confirmed. I don't know, because I never even noticed there was another tab, but I don't know. They did an update last night at like 11 o'clock Eastern and added some different stuff apparently. And then I noticed the other mode. It might have been there before, but I didn't notice it. And there are those different modes. They're still not as good as Overwatch. Of course, Overwatch has been around a long time, but are some different modes, and again, those are the ones that immediately people were conversing.
Cool.
Or I hadn't had that before, so
yeah, I wonder, because even early days in ranked mode in Overwatch, like communication was such a huge part of it. Like I remember playing ranked mode and like everyone was talking, but there is no ranked mode yet in this game,
right?
So I'm kind of curious what that'll hold out, but definitely some of the objectives and play styles, or I'm sorry, like modes of the game can really emphasize teamwork. Like Payload, like Locke was saying, is such a good example where it like spacing itself becomes so much more of a thing to it. Like I didn't play the other modes that you did, Ben, so I have no idea, but I'm just curious about where hero picks seem to matter a lot more. Like a very specific character, very specific ability was very good for this one spot. And I'm kind of curious to see that evolution in Concord or whatever there is to it. I'm sure there's like plenty of deep stuff to it, but I haven't had the experience with it yet. But like you guys are saying, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Locke.
No, I was just going to ask, have they said what the other modes are? Like, because that seems like something they should like disclose beforehand, I guess, or maybe that would lure more people in. Because next week is the open beta, right? Is that going to have more modes, or is that just going to be the same?
I assume it'll have more.
Because that would
6
be
different game modes. Okay, here we go. Takedown. Kill each player in their team. So that's like deathmatch, I guess. Trophy hunt. That's kill confirmed. Area control. 3 capture zones will spawn on the map. Maintaining control of these zones will net players points. The more zones a team set him as controls, the more points they accumulate. Okay.
Call of Duty. Yeah.
Clash points. Teams will have to locate and defend a designated zone on the map from enemy crew, or just eliminate them before they get a chance to contest. Signal chase. Teams will have to locate and control various zones on the map within a limited time to earn points. And cargo run. Teams will be split between trying to safely extract valuable cargo or trying to steal the enemy's crew's cargo.
That could be cool.
So, yeah, that could be cool. That sounds like an evolution of Capture the Flag almost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The that one, you have to find it, so it's not like marked on the map or anything. You have to go find, maybe it is marked on the map, but it's in a different spot. You have to go find the cargo, and then you have to transport it to an area and then protect it in that area until everybody's dead or the time is up. The interesting thing about that one, and I don't know if this was intentional or just because it's not fully polished yet, but which is crazy because it comes out in a couple months. But that one, it was interesting because like some healers, there's a healer in the game that has a sphere that they can throw down, and then it would stay between rounds. So you knew like if they threw it down, you could go to that spot the next round and still get it. It seemed a little broken to me, actually. Yeah, I don't know if it was meant to be that way, but it was interesting. But that mode and the mode where you have to just defend specific points, which felt, of course, very much like, was it Domination from Call of Duty? Yeah.
Definitely more Call of Duty style, I guess, modes, which is fine. But Locke, continue. Any other thoughts?
No, I mean, I really wanted to that was my main thing, because I know when that first trailer launched, everyone was like, Marvel, this is stupid. But I really wanted to like this because I'm really ready to move over from Overwatch to the next thing. And it's not going to be this. So I'm hoping that Deadlock, Valve's mobile hero shooter, will be more like Overwatch. So I think if you're looking for Overwatch 3, this is not it.
Gene, you also played with us for a little bit. What do you think about Concord, man?
Well, I really appreciate hearing from Ben and Locke, because those were really, really valuable perspectives. It kind of colors like how I'm thinking about it, but from my impressions, I'm with you all in that. Same that the game is fun, but it's really the characters. Because this is what I was saying when we were streaming, that there's so little juice in this game that distinguishes itself from everything else, right? Like it is a mixture of Valorant with that slow movement, right? And then like what Locke was saying, the arena shooter fight style feel that really feels like Destiny PvP. It just feels like 3 warlocks and like 2 tanks or whatever like that, basically, right? But they're very warlock coded, right? A lot of these characters, floaty jumps and everything. And then of course there's the Overwatch. So it's like a mixture of like Valorant and Overwatch and Destiny, which are all pretty much hero type shooters. Destiny obviously less so, but the classes can function similarly to heroes. the distinguishing thing about Concord is that it's trying to be. There's no other hero shooter that looks this good, honestly. You know,
true.
The facial animations, right? And the motion capture, especially in the cutscenes, are there. And every time you pick a character, like when the green Marvel guy, Lennox, the guy who likes spicy food, that's we'll talk about that later. But this is the guy that likes spicy food, right? And whenever you pick him, like he swings his gun and he does his facial animation, and he looks so realistic and quirky, you know. So like, I feel like that's what Sony is trying to push, that they're really trying to push the narrative. So we really got to see what the writing is like. What the writing is in the game, I hate it. I hate it so much. I fucking hate these characters so much. I don't like them. I dislike them. Some of them are cool, you know, some of them are decent character designs, but I think a lot of them are quite bland. I think the costuming is bland. There is a lot of variety of characters. What's interesting, I just noticed this because I'm looking down the Concord character list. 16 characters, right? It's actually majority women. When you think about it, do you guys notice that?
I felt it when I was playing. Yeah.
It's only six men at the most, maybe 5 if you don't include the robot, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and then there is each of these characters have pronouns, right? To be quite clear. So that's why I initially thought it was only 5 men, but I thought Daw, the big winter coat person, was a woman. Turned out to be a he/him. I think Daw is the healer, right? Like the one that throws on heating pads and everything too, right? So see, I'm learning these characters, but I you know, Locke doesn't care about which one, Ben doesn't care about the characters, right?
I don't care about the characters, but in fairness, I don't need to care about the characters.
You don't need to care about the characters.
I think it's important that other people care about characters.
Yeah. I think if you do need to care about the characters, I don't know if this is going to do it. Because Overwatch, their characters are pretty distinctive. Like, obviously, all these characters in Overwatch and Concord, they all fill some sort of archetype. You know, here's the boss bitch, and here's a cool guy, and here's a jokey guy. You know, but like in Overwatch, like the characters are pretty interesting. Here's D.Va, who's a esports Korean girl that has her own fucking mech. You know, here's a hamster ball guy. You know. These are really distinct characters with really interesting characteristics and unique characteristics. Whereas we come to Concord and there's Lennox, he's an alien and he likes spicy food.
Yeah.
You know? Or Hamyar, I guess, is she likes coffee and she's bossy, you know. So it really feels like that these characters are filling millennial stereotypes, you know. Like I'm just gonna say it. Like these, like it feels like a character list of BuzzFeed quiz items. You know, like I feel like these characters were all listed straight out from BuzzFeed 2017. You know, which Concord character are you? Answer this quiz. You know, like you like spicy food, then you are Lennox. Congratulations. You know, and so that's kind of where I'm at with Concord. Like I'm not a hero shooter guy, right? So I would need the characters to kind of like pull me through, and like I need to like be interested in the character, you know. So like my favorite character, it turns out to be the cat girl, right? With the submachine gun, the Uzi, right? But the only reason why I like her is clearly it's Z, right? It's Z, right? Terrible name. What the fuck, right? But she moves great. She's got great movement. I love her dodge roll. I actually like the dodge roll mechanic in this game. It's actually kind of fun, you know.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a little weird to do a double tap circle, but once you get used to it, it gets pretty instinctual. So you, like what Ben was saying, it does feel like that this game would find its groove. But then you have characters like Itzy, where it's like, you know, like she's cool, and I pick her because she's cool, and I get the most kills with her. But I don't have like an affinity towards her. I don't think she's a great character. I don't feel proud of being with her. As opposed to like when I'm with D.Va, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm this Korean girl in a mech that's fucking like just killing fools, right? Whereas I'm Itzy, guys. You know?
Yeah, Itzy.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite.
Maybe these characters, maybe the writing will pop off, you know, on launch week. Fuck, you know, the character arcs on these stories are interesting, and you know, like Guardians of the Galaxy is cringe, right? But then when the more you get to know these characters, and it's like, okay, like I'm drawn into these characters. I'm interested in their character arcs. I'm interested in their struggle, their motivations. Maybe that'll happen here. We don't have any of that. We just have vignettes and like collages of these characters, you know, trying to capture things, you know. But like I just cringe when I see the writing. Like when Lennox is talking to the captain in the computer, and he's like trying to bring up some other related thing because it's like, oh, he's so quirky because his mind can't focus, you know. But he also likes spicy food too. So like, which are you? Like, which character are you? Like all you are is just a millennial guy, you know, with ADHD, you know, and that's the thing. And so like, there's nothing wrong with modern writing. Modern writing can be fine. Here's a good example of what I think is good modern writing. In Alan Wake 2, the DLC, have you guys played the DLC in Alan Wake 2?
No.
Night Springs, right? One of the chapters is where you're Rose. Rose is a diner waitress who is like absolutely obsessed with Alan Wake. And in her story, she finds Mr. Scratch, the evil version of Alan Wake, right? And then like she goes off on him saying, sure, you're mildly attractive, but you know, sooner or later your egotism will fall away and everything like that. And then like Mr. Scratch will fall to his knees and says, stop, I hate feeling seen, you know? And it's like, you know, that's a little funny. And like the ridiculous of the situation of Rose yelling at the devil version of the main character of this game. And he is like falling to his knees and saying, I'm feeling seen. Like I'm feeling seen, it could be a cringe-worthy line, but like the context of that scene makes it a little bit funnier than you know, a computer telling that to Lennox and saying, oh, I feel seen, you know, and saying, well, you're just referencing modern language. You're not like really writing around it, you know? Right. I hope I'm coming off clear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think so.
So that's my take on Concord, basically. Like, it's a good game. You know, it's really fun. I had fun playing with you guys, and I actually have fun playing by myself. And again, like, you know, it was good to get some kills. And, you know, I think I see what Locke is getting at, too, where it does feel like an arena shooter. But maybe when the more modes come out, more players come out, then it might coalesce into something a little bit more team-based. It's hard to tell because the player base right now, we're just all popping our cooldowns, right? And seeing what those might do in certain situations, and it's experimental and it's fun, and you know, but yeah, I don't know. Like everyone says, like this isn't some Nostradamus like insight, but like yeah, I don't know how this game is going to do. You know, I think people's instincts about Suicide Squad were correct, right? In that this was cringy, this is not going to do anything interesting to the multiplayer space, right? It's fun, right? And as Lockwood might contend too, right? It's a pretty decent game, but I think a lot of people clocked it as this game is not going to be for me, and I think a lot of people are clocking Concord on that, and it's probably going to be the same thing, you know.
I think the thing about the characters that will be interesting, I said they weren't doing anything new, and this isn't necessarily new, but didn't they say when they revealed this game that they were going to have like, I don't know if it was weekly or monthly or whatever?
Yes, story
episodes. Yeah.
That's something that could save it.
Yeah,
that could save that part of it. Now, you know, in fairness,
I mean that's the thing. Like if the writing right now is
exactly yes. In fairness, it has to be writing that people like, but I think that because we are all old grumpy men, we forget that there is an entire generation or segment of people who like that.
Thank you. Yes.
There's a reason it is still popular. There's a reason it still does big numbers at the box office, whatever. Maybe that doesn't mean it's for us, but like there is an audience for that. So if they
completely forgot, Locke brought up a great point that this feels like it's for kids. The diversity of the cast, right? It feels very much like Burger King Kids Club, you know. You know, here's Wheels and here's the Latino guy, you know. So it feels very much like Burger King's Kids Club in terms of like the cast of characters and like the diversity there, and like the humor, right, is very very monotone and safe. And again,
one
it kind of
brings me back to the
things
that kids like right now is Skibbity, you know, like that doesn't appeal to me.
Skibbity Toilet Kids. I don't know if those Skibbity Toilet Kids are going to pony at $40 though.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, obviously the humor appeals to different age groups. So,
what are toilet kids? Is that what you call it?
Skibbity Toilet. Look it up on your own time, Locke.
Well, I think the Skibbity humor and Marvel humor is definitely two different branches of humor that the kids like. But yeah, to Locke's point, this does feel like part of, and this is what I've been saying for a while now. I think PlayStation is realizing, oh fuck, we've only made games about 40-year-old, 50-year-old dudes, God of War, fucking Joel Miller, and when we do have a young woman, she's just murdering people across Seattle, right? So it's like we need to offer something else that is multi-generational. So that's why they're doing Astrobot. That's why they're really pushing Horizon, because Horizon is probably the most kid safe and popular IP they have. So that's why they're pushing into Lego Horizon. And then now I think Concord is part of that push too, where it's like let's diversify our audience. Let's grow the audience. Let's reach out to people that normally wouldn't play these types of games. So look at the diversity of the cast. Look at how interesting and like, don't you feel seen? Like Alan Wake.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about this game. Let's talk about the characters and the story. I have no problem with a diverse cast. Overwatch has a very diverse cast. But
yes.
All these characters in this game look like shit. No one looks cool in this game. Agreed. I don't want to play as like any of these characters. All of them look just boring and I don't even know how to say it. Not uninspired, but just like the exact opposite of what I want. It's like Davers is wearing like a fucking beekeeper helmet or something. It's like, I don't know what they're doing. No one looks cool in this game. I don't want to buy skins for any of these characters, which is a bad idea for a hero game.
I got a drop that was like a skin drop, and it said it was rare, and all it did was turn my jacket purple.
Oh, fuck
yeah. There's probably like an epic tier or something that's like a new outfit, I'm assuming. But still, none of these characters look cool. From what we have seen of them in their cutscenes, I don't like any of them. I don't want to get invested with any of these characters, which is a problem because that's like the big hook of this game. That's the one unique thing this game has going for it. And I am so not invested in all of that.
Yeah.
Of course, that can change over time as you get more time with these characters. However, I don't know if I want to put in the time to get to know these characters more. I don't even know if I even want to bother doing all that. It's just like, I don't know what these fucking character designs are. They just look like shit, man. All of them. It's so like okay. And also likability. I want you guys to think back real quick to when Overwatch 1 was first announced. We got that video with those two kids, and then there was Widowmaker in it, and Reaper, and Winston and Tracer in that. People instantly liked those characters immediately.
Yes. Tracer, Winston, yes.
Yeah, and that's how they showed the game off for the very first time was that trailer. Then we got gameplay and after all that stuff. Guess who did the same thing? Concord. Here's a little cinematic thing for you with these characters. Immediately, everyone was like, no, we don't like this. Immediately. Then they showed you the gameplay. So that approach is a red flag right off the bat. Big mistake going on right there.
Well, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't you think that's just because it's too late? Like if they did this 8 years ago, it would have been awesome. But now
maybe
we've seen so much of this that
so when people were still eating up the Marvel schlop at the time, then probably I would say so. But timing is everything.
Sure,
and
of course.
I think the character designs matter. I think the character designs in Overwatch are just flat out better than Concord.
Like how many? I want you guys to picture this. How many characters? How many people can you see cosplaying as these characters?
I want to.
How many people are going to want to do that? The trash can, yeah. The robot. Oh, what's his name? One Off. It's like people want to care about your characters playing the game. They want to get attached to these characters. People like love League of Legends characters. They love Genshin Impact characters. Like that shit matters, man. A big time. Maybe not to the hardcore that are grinding it out and playing it, but to the more casual audience, you need those people in there too. And they're going to be probably the bulk of getting your player base. You need a huge casual base for a game like a multiplayer game, or it's going to die. Dude, it's just like one more character I got to pick on is Roka, the rocket launcher character. I think she's fun to play as. I feel like her character design is just not even finished. Like I don't even like. It's like they just gave up. 60% of the way through. It's just like I don't know what's going on with these characters.
Motorcycle humming girl. Give her a bazooka. That's it.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I don't know, man. I just don't get it. None of these characters look appealing. Yeah. So I think they failed on that front. From a gameplay perspective, I think it's pretty solid, honestly. I think some of the characters are really fun to play as, like the furry girl that Jean likes. I like her too. What's her name? What the fuck was her name? Itzy.
Yeah.
Itzy, I do think she was fun to play as.
Yeah, the lovable character, Itzy, you know.
She was like a strange mix between Sombra and Tracer almost.
Yeah.
She did remind me of Tracer, yeah.
I liked Starchild actually later on. He was the guy that could like charge guys, like a Reinhardt charge, run him. Then he has a slam ability. He has the shotgun. I thought he was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's like not every character is going to be for me no matter what in any game like that. But it's just like, it's fine. The gameplay's fine. It's solid. I get it. I don't know if I want to spend the time playing it though. Like 2 months from now, I'm like, 2 months after the game's out, am I going to be like, I want to keep playing this game? It's like, no, I'd probably rather just play a different multiplayer game. I'd rather play TF2 if I can find a server without bots in it going. So it's like, yeah, this may not be for me. Like this, I'm just probably not the audience of this for this game, and I totally accept that. But it's just like, I think right off the bat, the negative impact that this game had, or the negative reception people had to this game when it was first revealed, was a bad sign right away of no one liking these characters immediately. No one liking the tone. And for a game, like I said, with the heavy focus on story, the one very unique aspect it has going for it, it's just like, it's like a big miss to me. Hopefully the gameplay is strong enough for people where it can continue going. And like, this is only the beta. I don't know what the full game is going to be like. It could be a lot better. Who knows? But right now, easy pass for me and spending $40, unless I'm very bored or something like that. Because like we were saying, like what so many other people are going to face is, why should I spend $40 on this game when I can spend nothing on these humongous multiplayer games? All the biggest multiplayer competitive games are pretty much free.
Marvel Rivals
coming out. Yeah. Overwatch 2, Dota, League, anything like Valorant's all free. It's like all that shit is free. And it's cool. Like $40, I assume you get all the characters in the future. You don't have to pay for all that. That's really cool. But it's like, man, you got to get people in the door, first of all, to even want to bother. And judging off like one metric, Steam numbers, not necessarily where the biggest player base is going to be for this game, but not good so far. Not good at all. Especially when they decided to make this beta free for everyone with Plus now, instead of you having to pre-order the game.
That's a bad sign, in my opinion.
It's a bad sign.
Next week is the open one. That'll be a better...
Yes, that'll be a much better, I guess. Well, I don't know if it'll be better because it's free. Then when the game actually comes out, you got to pony up.
Yeah,
but I guess, Locke, if it's free and we don't see like a huge growth, then I think it's a real trouble.
That would be
real trouble.
That would be like the Biden debate of Concord. We would find out that it's not going to be well.
Do you think it's too late for them to do anything about the price? Like maybe not make it free to play, that's impossible, but like make it like half off at launch or something, or give it away on PS Plus, or do something.
They could. I don't know if they'll change anything now, Locke, because that'll make them look really desperate, I guess.
They did it with Destruction All-Stars.
That's true, and that didn't work out well either.
It did not work out well. But just imagine what numbers they were seeing that need to do that, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I could see this game going on sale pretty fast, though, Locke. Maybe something like that, or maybe it'll be on Plus by the end of the year, or early next year, something like that. Because they're going to have to do, if this game doesn't sell well, they're going to have to do something to get players into the game eventually. Yeah. And I don't know. I think they're just kind of writing it out for now. I'm sure they're very nervous about him. I would be if I was at Sony or something like that. I'd be like, fuck, we just bought this team and no one seems to give a shit about this game. That's a problem. But I guess we'll see as time goes on right now. But yeah, interesting game. Gameplay, solid. Enough, definitely fun to be had there. But I don't know if it's fun enough to spend $40 or to get invested in it. Let's see here. Adam,
the facial animations, though. $40.
The facial animations are good.
Facial animations, though. They have a motion capture studio. Don't you understand?
I know. It's like, shit. Were you on this conversation, Gene, when I was talking about it with like Elden Ring compared to like The Last of Us Part 2? Where The Last of Us Part 2 has like the craziest animations, like these characters, how they move is so fucking insane. And Elden Ring, like their mouths like barely even move when they talk or anything like that. It's like, at the end of the day, people don't really give a shit about that really fancy animations. Is the game fun is what matters the most. Oh, Ben has been Thanos snapped out of here by the Sony police because we were talking shit on Concord. He's gone, but hopefully he'll be back.
Yeah.
Locke, you look like you're about to say something.
No, I was going to comment on Ben leaving, but that's okay.
Okay.
No worries.
I guess we can wait for him to come back. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll just wait. We'll wait.
We can talk about. Do you want to keep talking, or you want to?
Yeah,
stop?
we'll just keep talking. Fuck it.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think? How do you think they'll have to? Because you know what's going to happen. Like you guys already said, like it's not going to go well. How do they pivot from that? How would you pivot from that? How would you fix it at this point?
Do you? Oh, like right now?
Yeah,
I think it's too late. I think to do.
It's over. It's over.
Like dropping the price is a weird thing, Locke, because I think it will get some new people in. Like, you drop this game to $20. I would be much more considering to buy the game if it's 20, maybe even 30, maybe. But you drop the price, get some people in, but at the same time, when you drop that price, it sets a perception to people that like, yo, this game is in trouble. This is not a good sign of this game.
But it is in trouble.
It is in trouble, yeah. So it's like, how in trouble is it? How much in trouble is it? Is it worth dropping the price and potentially losing out on some money already? Especially when all the people ponying up already. Hold on, sorry. Ben's writing to me. He said the power went out. Not sure if it's coming back.
Oh, shit.
Butler. Oh my God.
No problem.
Butler.
Yeah, a lot of weird things going on in Butler, Pennsylvania. But all right,
I think we'll just continue on.
I guess so.
And whenever he can come back, we'll get him back in the fold. Gene, what would be your plan, I guess, if you're Sony right now with this game?
Well, I want to comment first on your motion capture stuff, like the facial animation. You're absolutely right. Look at the millions of people watching Elden Ring. No one cares about like what the facial animation capture looks like. Hey, there's Ben. All right.
Dude, I bought a universal power supply or whatever they're called, UPS. It's great. Nothing shut off. Just all my power went out and my internet disconnected. And then when I reconnected, I'm just back. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Cool. Do you have a generator or something or what?
No, like I have a thing that just everything as part of my computer and like my internet plugs into, and it's like a battery backup. I guess that's a better word for a battery backup. So I was just sitting here. I was like, better not pick my nose or anything. I might be back on camera before I know it. Sorry, guys. There's crazy thunder outside.
We kept going on.
Yeah, we kept it moving. I was just talking about how the facial. I was just jumping off of Brad's point about the facial animations and everything like that. Like no one cares about this stuff, I think Sony and everyone will need to take a step. Like it's the Hellblade 2 conversation again, and a lot of people got mad at me about the shit I said about Hellblade 2, but I really do think that Ninja Theory just dropped the ball in focusing too much on facial animation and motion capture. When you listen to their interviews, that is the only thing they can talk about is the motion capture and the facial animation. Obviously there's a lot to talk about in Concord, but what is a distinguishing factor about it? Really, it is the characters and the story and the quality of the facial capture that they're showcasing. And
yeah,
I don't know.
I think I just want to clarify. I think there is definitely value in a place for having really crazy tech and stuff like that and facial visuals like that, and it can absolutely be a gateway to help people get immersed in your game. But I think
we just love Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, for example,
exactly.
Right? And that one did facial animations really well. So not to shit on it. There's a time and a place for it. Sure,
exactly.
Right?
I just think like ultimately that's not the stuff that matters in the kind of game. But it is like a nice it could be great, but it's like but the game itself, like we were saying, Elden Ring. Super jank and a lot of visuals and everything, like even performance still. It's like I don't know. It's kind of weird.
But like Digital Foundry, Digital Foundry is the most negative channel on Elden Ring because like they're always shitting on the performance and they're like, this is unacceptable. FromSoft needs to do better. You know what? 95% of the audience doesn't care. The people in who are watching Digital Foundry care, right? But that is the audience for that. But most people who are playing Elden Ring don't even notice any of these issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just make a good game. Make good game design.
Yeah, that's what matters more, I guess, is what I'm just saying.
It's good advice to every developer, right? Like, make a good game. Just
make it good, okay?
Just make it good. It's so easy. God.
Yeah, God. All right, this is from Adam Razik, who wrote in. Hello, gentlemen. How are you getting on with Concord Beta? I've put about 2 hours into it, and while I think the game is okay, I have very strong doubts about it being a success for PlayStation. Other than a desperation for more For more in-house multiplayer-focused studios, I'm still baffled as to why Sony acquired Firewalk based on this vanilla-ass game. Thank you, and I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, well, Adam's a little more stern about it. Well, I was pretty harsh on the character design, but yes, it is kind of. It seems like maybe I don't know what Sony saw in this. Maybe the pedigree about who was making this, like former Bungie people, saw a little prototype of it. They're like, okay, we need to get in this live service space. So they must have saw something, I guess, but I don't know if it was the best move.
Well,
sure doesn't seem like it right now.
Yeah, years ago this would have been amazing, but they're just too late. That's the thing.
Yeah,
right? They're just too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just too late with this kind of.
I really subscribe to the theory that that Sony was like, well, we want to get into live service. Let's pick up, a bunch, and hopefully one of them hits it.
Yeah.
Big time. And you never know what you're going to get until it's done, of course. But that's kind of how I feel about games like this, and let's just try a bunch and see what works.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Would be funny if it's only Helldivers 2, their first one that hit, and then nothing else does. That would be funny,
the studio they don't own, actually.
Yeah.
They own the IP, though. Let's see. Lauren E. wrote in. Hello, friends. I've been playing the Concord beta and I'm having a blast with it. I think it's a really great hero shooter, but with its competitor, Overwatch 2, being free to play, do you think it will have a worse chance of success? Or do you think that the Overwatch crowd is fed up enough to purchase Concord and jump ship? Locke, this is interesting because this was you. Exactly.
It's not Overwatch. Yeah. But it's not
You're
Overwatch.
Just like, it's not good enough. So you're not jumping ship.
Well, yeah, it's just not Overwatch. Like it's the games. I get it. It's a hero shooter, but that's where the comparison stops.
Overwatch does move a lot faster. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I was playing this, I never thought like, oh, I'm playing Overwatch. No, I always thought like, oh, I'm playing Destiny, or oh, I'm playing Call of Duty, even at certain points. But I never had the feeling that I was playing Overwatch. Maybe in the other modes, like we already discussed, but I don't know. I don't think if you want to compare it to Overwatch, then yeah, this is a lot worse. So that I wouldn't, if I was them, I wouldn't compare it to Overwatch.
Yeah. We kind of talked about this, but have any worse chance of success because it's not free to play. And I think we all unanimously agree. Yes, it will have a harder chance as a multiplayer versus shooter right now. If the game had a campaign or something, maybe. I think it could have helped a lot, which is kind of surprising, I guess, from Sony, who's so known for their campaigns and stuff like that they just decided not to.
Yeah.
But could have been cool. Could have sucked. Who knows? But maybe they saw Avengers and they were like, well, we don't even need to bother the campaign, I guess. I don't know. Hard to say at that time. But yeah, this game's definitely got an uphill battle for right now. Let's see. Cam the Visionary also wrote in. Oi! As you guys are playing PlayStation's new live service game in Concord, as a side note, what are a few core elements that make a live service game truly great from a gameplay and longevity standpoint? What are some effective strategies to make people continuously spend money on live service games? Lastly, psychologically, what do you think makes people want to spend, for example, thousands of dollars on a live service and feel that it was a good value spend? Thanks for all you do. Peace, from Cam. All right, so a lot going on here. Let's start with the beginning. What do we think makes a good live service game from like a gameplay and longevity standpoint?
Something to me anyway, and this is I think the reason Helldivers 2 has plummeted is because it doesn't have a ranking system. There's no competitiveness to it. So after I don't know how many hours did we all put in Helldivers 2, a shit ton, and it was so much fun. But after a while, you've seen it all, and there's no incentive to continue. So to me, a good live service game has rankings and has an incentive, has like a progression that you can work towards, and compare to your friends or compare to other players, and have PvP. That's what a good live service game does with me, and that's why I keep playing Overwatch.
Look at Rocket League, like how long it's been around and thriving, and it's all in the ranked. I mean, yeah, people play casuals too, don't get me wrong, but people want to maintain that top spot.
Yeah, I think for Helldivers, since it isn't like a competitive game necessarily, you need content pretty frequently, like content updates. Like I haven't played Helldivers 2 in a long time, so I'm not really sure. But they probably needed like another faction or something like that to keep you coming back, new terrains or something like that. I know they're adding like small things like the mech but I think you just need like a big content update, like to keep people invested in this thing when there's no competitive. Like I think of Fortnite, which is like the craziest live service game, how often they update the game, and not everyone can do that. I understand, but you need constant updates. You need constant balancing for this game. One, I think you needed characters that people were really invested in and awesome skins. If you're talking about getting people to spend money, you need really awesome skins that you want to buy for these characters.
Yeah. And
for me personally, I don't want to buy anything for any of them. So that's off the table right away. You need new modes updated. I'm sure they're going to do all this though too. So it's hard for me to be too harsh on this game when it's not even out yet. So we don't know what the full roadmap's going to be. And I guess for psychologically makes people want to spend, for example, thousands of dollars on live service. It's so weird because there's so many different types of live service games, like your gacha games and like your Dota game. Like, what was it? League of Legends had that $500 skin or whatever, that character. And it's just like, well, people bought it because they thought the character was hot or something like that. It's like, it could be as simple as that. That's all it takes to get people to spend money. Or a game with like, a gacha game where power is tied to money. Like think of what was it? Diablo Immortal. That game got shit on by everyone. Everyone fucking hated it. Guess what though? It made a lot of money right off the bat. Because people are willing to the whales or whatever, who are like 2% of the player base in games. That's all you need, man. You just need a couple whales to fund your game. And I mean, maybe there'll be a whale for Concord. I don't know. But whatever their monetization will be in the future. But
it's crazy.
Concord's got a lot of work to do.
Obviously, Fortnite's an entirely different beast. It's not comparable to really any other game.
You can't compare Fortnite to anybody, pretty much.
No. But it is crazy to me that with Fortnite, they were doing so well at one point that they were just like, you know what, we're going to make a subscription service. You can now pay $15, which in fairness, if you play Fortnite all the time, it's an amazing deal.
Yeah.
Pay like under $15 a month. You get the battle pass, which gives you a bunch of free coins, whatever they're called, V-Bucks. And you also get like a set amount of V-Bucks, and you get some other perks as well. And I know people who have done that, who have been like, I'm gonna sign up because you get all the battle pass. I'm gonna buy these $10 at a time anyway.
I subscribe to it.
And then they're like, you know what, I'm just going to buy another skin on top of that because, I got all this stuff for free. Well, you didn't get it for free. But, like, it's all about the mentality. And granted, yes, it is I honestly do think that Fortnite is one of the best shooters ever made. Not just the best battle royale, but, like, it is a good shooter, too.
Yeah, it is.
It's by Epic Games, Yeah. Epic Games make good shooters, Tim Sweeney makes good shooters,
You present the right things and people are interested. But they have the advantage of you're not always the same characters. Yeah. You're any character, whoever you want to be at this point, honestly. So I don't really know what the right strategy there was. I just know that they must be really happy that they decided to make a battle royale clone, and then out of their survival game that really hit it off because that probably changed so many people's lives forever.
But they fucked over PUBG. Remember, PUBG was like the king of battle royale.
It was for a bit.
Yeah, that's how you win. You have to fuck over people, I'm sorry. Sometimes that's how you win,
Yeah.
I played Fortnite when it came out because, well, one, they had sent us like a bunch of free stuff, but also I played Fortnite when it came out because I didn't have a computer that could run PUBG. And I was like, I want to play a battle royale. I want to play PUBG. And Fortnite came out on consoles, and I was like, great, I can do that. Now, I don't have to make that decision, but
Fortnite was just a lot more accessible than PUBG, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Too. It was on the phone too. Well, I mean, PUBG was on phone too, but yeah. I can speak to the gacha side as a MiHoYo fan and a former Genshin Impact addict, and you touched on this, Brad, that it is the characters. Obviously there's so many different things that could go to a live service, right? The big three right now are obviously Minecraft, Roblox, and Fortnite, right? And all those have some kind of like really, really robust user generated like platform, so that's different, right? Not all live service games can be that. Genshin Impact, or also Zoneless Zen Zero that just came out, right? The MiHoYo difference is that they actually make characters that people, like Brad said, will want to cosplay or become, I spent so much money on fucking Genshin Impact because they had a banner for the Wind God Venti, who was a main character in the very first area, and who was a super cool character. They wrote the character so well, one of my favorite characters in the RPG of all time, and you can just not play him. You have to roll for him. So I spent a lot of money, and I got him, and I felt super happy. But that got me into Genshin Impact, and that got me spending. But I wanted that character so bad, and now the character is in my party. I feel great. I feel powerful, but it matters to want to have that character, to roll for that character. Zelda is still zero. Everyone there are really cool character designs. That's what you want. Nikkei, Goddess of Victory, shift up, right? You see the waifu that you want. That's and so you'll spend money and you keep playing until you get that one. So
there is an element.
That's why people play Nikkei.
Yeah,
it's not the jiggle.
Yeah, the jiggles. Yeah, you want the best jiggle. So, but yeah, like there are different elements. Obviously, there's a lot of mechanics involved, and there's user generated. But I do think that the writing characters do matter, and I think that's what Concord is trying to do here. And they're not just as good, quite frankly. I mean, it when you let's talk about the sexiness of these characters. There's not a lot of characters in the Concord roster that looks like, oh, they're like conventionally hot, right? Versus like Tracer or Diva, and they're just like perfect 10s, right? I don't know. You might want a perfect 10 girl or a perfect 10 guy. I guess Teo is pretty hot as a guy, but
Garbage Can is pretty hot.
You might want to fill your roster with waifus. There's nothing wrong with having hot women in your cast too. So it's a draw. Sex sells. Sex really sells. I was an entertainment editor for my college paper, and we kept losing money the whole time, right? But when I became editor and it was spring break, I said, I'm going to publish photos of spring break on the front page. They're going to be all bikini women, right? Made revenue first week, first time we ever made money, sex sells. Yeah. I saw it firsthand. It worked. And then the advertising professors like gave me like an A+. They're like, you are so smart, Gene. I was like, they were like, you are a genius. You were like an advertising genius. You were like a media genius. And all I did was put titties on the front page. And I had a page 2 girl, Every time there was a page 2, I always made sure I put a hot girl there,
Yeah, and with the character design, it's not like I'm even saying like all these characters need to be like anime women or anything like that at all. I'm just saying you have to have cool looking characters that people can latch onto in some way and like want to like or like something about them.
To aspire to, not even like just being seen, but like I want to become this person eventually. I want to level up and become Tracer. I want to level up and become Mercy.
Yeah, it's like
Mercy is a super god, like let me become Mercy eventually,
I think of like Genji. He's a fucking like cyborg ninja. It's like I'm not into Genji because he's a hot dude. It's just a fucking cool cyborg ninja. That's why I liked him. Roadhog I liked because he's some huge fat guy with a chain hook that looked awesome. It's like I loved all that kind of stuff. It's like not everything needs to be a super sexy character to be successful.
But those character designs are still pretty sexy though, like even Roadhog, even though he is a big guy, like he's a good looking big guy though,
The gut jiggle, there's something to it. So there's something for everyone, I guess, out there.
That's right.
So there you go. Before we close on Concord,
also real quick, Brad, real quick, sorry.
Yes,
I failed to mention the joke that we had on stream that Concord was making me racist.
Oh yeah,
because I don't know these fucking characters' names, so I just call them by their skin color and their gender, know. And like as I'm saying, I feel like I sound like such an asshole. Where I'm just like, let me just be this really really big black woman,
Yeah,
but that's what they're calling attention to,
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time remembering any of these characters' names. I just can't even still remember that.
They're not good character names.
That's definitely them just trying to make a name
Tio.
that's like diva.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work though, because it's not a real word.
But they're also not ordered. Remember, like in Overwatch, you had DPS and you had healers and you had tanks. But here they're just all crossed.
They're divided up in some sort of category. I don't know what the categories mean though, but they were in some sort of category.
backup, right? Backup
there was like
category.
backup was a category.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, true.
Is that a healer? I guess I don't know. Why can't you just write healer or something?
Yeah. They got to be different, you know.
Gotta be different. Any closing thoughts on Concord, boys, before we move over? And also, are any of you gonna actually buy this and play it day one?
I already did, sadly.
Well, you tried to refund it.
No, I can refund it.
Okay, so are you gonna stick with it?
No, you're gonna have to remind me to refund it because I'll forget. But you'll remind me, Pat.
He's not sticking with it. Yeah.
He doesn't want to stick with it. What it sounds like.
Well, no, I want to, but why would I? If I can, the better game I play every day. So why would I?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I like Suicide Squad better than this game.
Ooh,
good job, Gene.
And it's
I think I do. I think Suicide Squad character movements and characters. Well, I mean, the characters are there. They're already more interesting. They're the Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
The writing is a little bit better. Like the writing in Suicide Squad isn't that bad. You know, it's okay. You know.
I think this game's gonna be hard to convince your friends to buy it to play with you. You're like, yo, I got this FPS game. Play with me. Yeah. Oh, sweet. Where can I download it? Oh, how much is it also? Oh, it's $40. Oh. Never mind.
Yeah. As of this moment, I don't think I'm going to buy it, even though I did have some fun with the beta. But just because you guys mentioned Suicide Squad, a PSA. This comes out on Tuesday. I think Tuesday and Wednesday are like Prime Day. Mm-hmm. Suicide Squad is going to be free on Amazon Prime Gaming. If you don't already have it, I think it'll be a GOG copy or an Epic copy.
Dude.
So. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We can get a 4-player squad going if the online server doesn't blow up.
I actually set a reminder. I set a reminder for myself to go in and claim it because it's a game I wanted to play, but I was I'm not paying for that.
Dude, free, you should try it.
Yep.
I thought it was an extremely frustrating game for what I've played, but free, dude, can't beat that.
Right.
Yeah. I even tried playing with Locke.
That's right.
It was very frustrating. The online was not good when me and Locke played together.
Yeah, it was complete. They made it worse. Because I finished the entire campaign with Jimmy, which was awesome. We had a great time. But then when we played it, Brad, like when was it, 3 weeks ago? It was like impossible. Like it broke everywhere. Not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
not good.
Like I think the world map of Suicide Squad is just more interesting than these, you know, like semi Destiny, semi Valorant maps, right? Like it. Like,
I mean, the map looks great in Suicide Squad. It looks cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the maps in Concord, they're like a little like I don't remember what they are. I don't remember the locations. You know, I think it'll come with time. But you know, there was nothing. Shit. Yeah, there was nothing where I'm just like, whoa, like these locations. I'm just like, no, these are just maps. You know. Like even Halo Infinite has better maps, you know, at least in terms of like the vibe, right?
Sure.
Like the world. But I mean, again, we don't know this world in Concord. So, you know, I could be talking my ass and it could be a great world. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see when the game fully comes out. I'm curious to hear whoever's impressions, whoever buys this game, or if someone on staff buys it, I hope, or plays it. Actually,
you guys want to play again this weekend?
I'll be out of town this weekend, but if I can, I'll play. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
Brad was like 3 rounds in. He's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to play Kingdom Hearts for the 900th time.
This ties into... The reason is I'm tying into another thing. The other game that I've been playing is Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail. The new Final Fantasy XIV expansion.
That's where
a lot of my time is going right now. Mm-hmm. And like I'm already falling behind on stuff. Like I'm trying to beat games in my backlog. Like I beat Metroid Prime again, which is still fun. Shout out Metroid Prime. I just beat Beyond Good and Evil for the first time, so that was fun. Cool. And now I'm going to try to like finish Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, and while I'm also working. So I'm doing like a game and also 14 at the same time. So it's been pretty rough. But yeah, Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 is my choice for an MMO. It's my favorite MMO on the market right now. As a big Final Fantasy fan, it makes total sense to me because not only do I love these jobs that you get to use and like the worlds and everything like that, it is a very much Final Fantasy game. Also, not just it's like 50% MMO and 50% Final Fantasy in the sense that there is a main story you go throughout the entire game. And you have to go through these stories to get the next expansions. It's not like World of Warcraft where you can just buy the newest expansion and just be in there, even if you're level 2 or something like that. It's like, no, you have to go through this progression of story. You can pay to skip it, but I don't recommend it because story is such a big part of this. Anyways, I've been playing this game for about 10 years, I would say now, on and off. I come back for every expansion, but I've played through everything. The last expansion that came out, Endwalker, was the end of the arc that had been going on for like 10 years, the Heidel and Zodi arc. So it's over. That arc is over. Now we are into Dawntrail, which is a brand new start of a new arc, I suppose. I'm not really sure. But what's interesting about this is it's a much lighter tone, I would say, so far in every way. Like the whole game revolves around you with this character called Wook Lamut that not a lot of people like, and I'll get more into that character later.
You mean Woke Lamau?
Yeah, Woke Lamau, yeah. Yes. But this whole point of this expansion so far, that I have not finished the expansion, by the way, so I don't know. I still have a ways to go. But the whole thing is you are on this path. It's like a competition between these 4 different children of the king, and they're all competing to become the next ruler of the land, whatever. By the way, the environments in this expansion are very nice, very tropical. Like the main town I've been to is like a very tropical beach town and everything like that. Has like really nice jazz music playing. Gene, I think you'd enjoy it very much. Mm-hmm. Very like Hawaiian kind of vibes everywhere. Mm-hmm. Very like South American jungles and all that stuff. Like I said, I haven't been through everything yet, but it's been very cool, very beautiful zones. But yeah, the story revolves around you with Wook Lamau. I'm never going to be able to forget that, dude. But you are with her the whole time, trying to help her pass these trials to become the ruler as she's competing with her siblings. And her siblings are all from like different tribes of this area, like this world. There's like a 2-headed lizard man, then there's like a 1-headed kind of different lizard man, then there's like a cat boy, then there's Wook Lamat. Dude, I can't even remember her fucking name is now. Wook Lamau forever. And she's like what was his name from Final Fantasy X, Gene? Kaminari? I forgot his name.
I'm forgetting, yeah.
But it's like a female version. Right? Yeah, it's a female version of him, so a furry.
Yeah.
But you're escorting them throughout these trials. And this expansion has been very strange to me because the beginning especially is very slow pace, where I was like getting bored. I was like, what's happening kind of thing. I was very confused. Yeah. Like the first beginning of the game, you choose between these 2 locations to go to, and you go to one of them. And one of them was like, I didn't really fight anything at all the entire time I was there. Of course, there's like the main quest you do, which I just stuck to because you level up pretty fast, and I'll save side quests for another character to level up. But these quests were just like going through a trading sequence to get stuff to trade for another thing, to eventually get a saddle for a llama. And I was like, okay, this is interesting, I guess, but it's kind of boring. And the whole expansion so far the story has been kind of underwhelming, I would say, which is very surprising to me.
Wow.
Because Final Fantasy expansions have really good stories. Like Realm Reborn is the weakest, but then everything else after that is like Crazy Town, essentially. But this one, they're going for a different vibe, which I'm totally fine with, and slowing it down, but it's just been like too slow almost, where I've just been kind of like bored a couple times. Where like I'm not super motivated to play this game as much as I want to be right now. And it's very upsetting. Oh, wow. But on the other hand, the content, like the instance content you do, like the dungeons or like the trials, trials are like 8-man boss fights, like a 8-man boss fight you do. Those are very good. The content's been actually really fun. What you're doing, these bosses have been super awesome. But just going through the story so far has not been hitting the highs I want. And I'm hoping it gets better. And I've heard this from other people too, that I've heard mixed reactions actually about this expansion so far. So I am curious how it's going to turn out, but I'm hoping it gets better. There's some flashes of stuff where I'm like, oh, this is cool. Actually, I do like this, but it's definitely not the highs that I've had in like the last several years of this game. Maybe because it's the start of a new story or whatever, but I don't know. I hope it picks up from a narrative perspective for me. I'll see what happens at the end, but I need a little more from it so far, from the narrative. I need to feel a little more juice. Just a little more.
A stupid question?
Sure.
Because I don't know anything. Is it like the last expansion? Was that like a wrap up or some sort?
That was the wrap up of like a 10-year long story.
Oh, okay. So this
like a saga. Now this is like the brand new start of something else.
So you're basically after Endgame in Marvel. That's
yeah, exactly. It's like they have the Infinity Saga. That's over now. So now we're on to the new thing, which of course is always hard to follow up. And I totally acknowledge that. But I'm just thinking like a little slower even than I thought it would be. Because I'm, shit's not going to get crazy right off the bat. But even some of the characters they've introduced, I'm like not super as into as much as I'd want to be. Like Wukelamat and all that kind of stuff. She's like fine, I guess. She's fine. But no one I'm like is like, yo, sick character right now. But hopefully things will get better as I progress. Ember's Arcade wrote in about this. Brad, having just rolled credits on Dawntrail, I have to say that I'm disappointed in this new chapter 14's ongoing narrative. Obviously, it doesn't have the benefit of a 10-year story arc like Endwalker did, but the decision to center it around a new character, Wukelamat, who has the depth of a shonen protagonist, was a risky move. Plus, the length of this expansion rivals that of Endwalker, while being something like triple the length of Heaven's Ward, which felt completely unnecessary.
Really? That's crazy.
The dungeons and trials are brilliant, sure, but this does feel like a misstep after years of exceptional storytelling. What do you think? Best wishes from sunny Los Angeles, California. Bros, stay winning. Embers, I'm kind of on the same page as you right now. I don't like hate it or anything like that. I'm not fucking miserable playing it. But I'm just kind of, it's not as interesting as I thought it was going to be right off so far. And I'm hoping it'll progress, but it's hard because, there's going to be patches and stuff like that that add new content as things, new story content. So hopefully more stuff will get more interesting. But I just hope whatever the next arc they're doing or whatever it's going to lead into, I'll be excited for. Because so far, not super excited yet. But everything else is really great. Like, they added 2 new jobs. Gene, you'll probably like one of these is a Pictomancer, which is essentially Reem, I think how you say him from Final Fantasy VI. You essentially paint stuff.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Like, does attacks. Like you can like paint out like a Moogle attack and stuff like that. So that's really
crazy.
Fun.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
And the other one is a Viper, which is what I'm playing right now. It's like a dual wielding class. It's like very fast, very quick attacks, but there's attacks where you like put the swords together where it makes a twin blade. So you're doing attacks like Zidane from Final Fantasy IX. So I think those are really fun. I'm enjoying all of that. Just the narrative point of the game so far has been disappointing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ryan Harvey wrote in. Hey, fellas. My question is... this question is directed at Brad as a fellow Final Fantasy XIV enjoyer. Dawntrail has been a nice breath of fresh air and really nails the vacation vibe in my O. I've heard complaints about the slow start, but I don't really have an issue with it not being combat focused off the bat. How do you feel about that? And of course, Wukelamat. Like I've been saying, like I've been vibing with it personally and enjoying it. Nice to unwind at the end of the day. P.S. I really enjoyed Zero as a character as well, since I had to do in the last patches and Walker headed expansion. Yeah. Zero was a character from the patches. That was awesome. But Wukelamat, who is like the center of this expansion, just isn't strong enough yet for me. So hopefully she'll grow more and I'll get more into her. But so far I'm just kind of like, take it or leave it. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts with 14. I'll probably report back after I actually finish the story and everything like that. But it's been out for a couple weeks and I've gotten to sink my teeth into it now.
I reinstalled 14, dude.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still enjoying the game. I'm still having a lot of fun, especially like the actual gameplay content, I think is still really good and really strong. But it's just the story in it so far is lacking. So hopefully it'll pick up.
How long of a story, like in terms of hours, do the FF14 expansions take?
I couldn't tell you. I don't recall off the top of my head. What I could do is look
it's just a haze. You just lose yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's like some of these I beat like 8-9 years ago.
Right.
So I just can't really recall.
How long was Endwalker?
Endwalker was pretty long. Like as long as like an RPG game.
50 hours.
Like 50 hours, yeah. 40, 50 hours.
Yeah, that's significant.
Yeah, I mean, even Realm of Warren was about like maybe 60, 70 hours.
Let's see. Heaven's Ward, they said, was... The main story is like 60 hours, 64 hours. Yeah, let me see what Endwalker was. Since Endwalker was apparently one of the longer ones, but they had a lot to wrap up. How long to beat Endwalker? This is 49 hours for the main story. That seems right.
Yeah.
I know it's an MMO, so If you just
most people
mainline
aren't
it, you
just
could
going to
probably,
mainline it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like it says like main plus extras are 138 hours. It's just like completionist 860 hours.
Of course.
So yeah, there's a lot to do, but they're usually as long as like a game, usually like an RPG game, at least 30 hours or so.
I reinstalled FF14, Brad. We should play.
Oh hell yeah, Gene. Are you on my server?
No.
What server are you
Well,
on?
I have no idea.
Okay, well get on Ultros, baby. That's where I'm at.
I think I was on Ultras. on Ultras.
I'll play with you.
Yeah, but I'm just at the end of Realm Reborn. So.
Oh sweet, you're going to Heaven's Ward. Oh shit, that's when stuff starts getting crazy.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm right at the edge of when the game gets like legendary. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. All right, Locke. Starfield, man. You're revisiting Starfield. I don't know why you are, but please tell me about it.
Well, the reason I am revisiting Starfield, this is my third attempt. And Maddie taught me. I started a new channel where I'll try to delve into history of games. And
what's this channel called?
The channel is called Locke Plays because Lockmort was already taken by me, and I can't change it, sadly. So the channel name is Locke Plays. But Maddie taught me a very valuable thing in all these years working for him. He taught me that you have to time your uploads with like big releases or like anniversaries. So my plan is at the 1-year anniversary of Starfield, I want to put up a video saying like I completed every planet, I did everything there is to do in Starfield.
Oh, right? That's a good concept.
I hope so. So a month ago, I started replaying. A month ago, I started playing Starfield again. I have 3 attempts. The first attempt was 70 hours on Steam, and then I quit. The second attempt was 30 hours on Xbox, and then I quit. And now I'm in my third attempt. I think I'm 60 hours in, something like that. But the reason I stopped the first time was really because of outside forces. I know a lot of people, including Maddie, and I think, Gene, also you, told people like, oh, you got to finish the game first, and then you get into New Game Plus, and that's the real game. And that's good advice for a lot of people, I guess. But for me, that kind of broke the game for me. Because ever since I knew that, everything I started doing in the game, I had a feeling like, well, why am I doing this? Like, it's of no use because there's New Game Plus I have to work towards. So that's why I quit playing the first time, really.
Yeah.
And then the second time...
Sorry about that, man.
No. It's completely.
I actually feel bad about giving that advice because I remember saying that, and I actually feel bad. Like I felt bad like a week later. I was like, wait a minute, like maybe that wasn't the best advice, you know. So sorry to everybody if I ruined like your Starfield playthrough because that sucks.
Well, no, I was gonna say it's not your fault because it's a personal thing. I love Bethesda games. They're my favorite games of all time. I have hundreds of hours or thousands of hours if you combine all of them. I love Oblivion. Is my number 3 or number 4 game of all time. I love Oblivion. I love Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout 4. I love all of them. Morrowind, even before that, Daggerfall. So to get to Starfield, which was so different than the other ones, I couldn't adjust to it. And that combined with the New Game Plus theory that a lot of people had was just something switched off in me, like saying like I can't do this anymore. Because what Starfield reminded me of wasn't a typical Bethesda game. It reminded me of Daggerfall, which was their game before Morrowind. And in Daggerfall, you basically had the whole continent. But
no. I'm just hyping you up because that's exactly how I felt.
Okay, cool.
Like nobody knows how I felt because like why I like Starfield. Like everyone was like, "Oh, it's all procedurally generated, it's just all infinite." I was like, "Yes, it's just like fucking Daggerfall, man." Because Daggerfall was my first Bethesda game, so that's why. So that's why Starfield. I love Starfield so much. I told Todd this. I was like, "You're trying to do Daggerfall again?" He was like, "Yes."
Oh, cool.
You know,
I didn't know that. Oh yeah, that sounds well. Yeah, because in Starfield, you have the universe, or you have like multiple universes, I guess. And in Daggerfall, you have the whole continent you can go to. So you have little towns and villages, and they're also procedurally generated, just like in Starfield. So the comparison is really stark here.
Finally, someone who understands. Jesus.
The only problem I have with that is that in Daggerfall, every location was also procedurally generated, of course, but they were highly interesting to me. And that's a personal thing because I just like fantasy more than sci-fi. But also in Daggerfall, you had more connection to the game world itself. Like you could fast travel. You had to fast travel basically to every little town, city, dungeon on the continent. but you always had a purpose in going there. And you could, if you wanted to, could go on foot to other places on the continent. Well, in Starfield, you really have to use the fast travel, which is okay. That's baked in the game. They can never take that out. That's just what it is. But in previous games, including Daggerfall, what I love personally about Bethesda games is that sense of wonder, that sense of, anything can happen at any point. I don't know, Gene, you've obviously played Oblivion. I don't know, Ben or Brad, have you played Oblivion? No. You remember somewhere in the beginning of Oblivion, you're just walking down the road and suddenly somebody falls out of the sky. And that's the start of a quest. Remember that? Like a brilliant quest.
Yeah.
Mage falls out of the sky, and that's how the quests are. You have these guilds, these mysterious guilds. You get to the Dark Brotherhood quest in Oblivion.
You go to you kill somebody, and then you go to sleep, and then someone comes at you in the middle of the night, and you're just like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah, amazing. And then the way it concludes, also amazing. But in Starfield, the way quest starts, it's just you hear about them, and then they're just in your quest log, and I'm like, well, that's not really interesting to me. And then, because in Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 4, Fallout 3, you talk to these interesting characters, right? And they are like different races, and they have different things to say, different accents, and they act differently. Some hate you, some don't. Some quests, like the guy falling from the sky, just starts. But then every time I take a quest in Starfield, I feel like I'm in the grocery store, and some old guy starts talking to me, and I can't get rid of him. That's how the quest starters in Starfield most of the time feel to me. Because
now you're just involved in his life now too. Yeah.
And now I can't go to that store anymore because he's always there. But when you talk to NPCs in Starfield, there's no connection. Like, it feels a little bit soulless to me because there's not really a connect. There's no mystery. There's no sense of wonder. Like, this NPC wants something of you. He's gonna give you a quest. You travel to the point you have to do the quest. You travel back. You hand it in, and you never see him again. While in previous Bethesda games, especially Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout 4, like the newer ones, you would meet these characters again. Like, they would travel over the map, and you would meet them in different places because you would also travel over the map. I'm thinking about that really interesting quest again in Oblivion, like the murder mystery for one of the guilds, or the Dark Brotherhood, or in Fallout 4, like the USS Constitution, like really special quests that everybody remembers of all time. And I just can't find those quests in Starfield. Like, there are a couple that are fun and that are cool, but I already heard about them on Twitter or on YouTube or anywhere else. So there's not really something new to hook me in Starfield, which is a problem. That's a problem that's personal to me, of course, because I spend time online and on YouTube, and I work, of course, for Maddie, who is one of the biggest Bethesda fans out there. So I got a little bit spoiled on a lot of things. I don't know if a lot of people have that too. But another thing is the faction quests. Bethesda games have like a staple of like amazing faction quests. And in Starfield, the faction quests are pretty fun, but they're all instanced. So every time I do a faction, and I'm done with it, or every time, I've only done 3, but every time I'm done with them, I get back put into the world, and it's like, good job, you did it. Like, yeah, but where are the characters?
You got your outfit in your ship. Good job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, well, where are the characters? I want to meet them again, but nope. That segment is done.
You're done. Leave this area.
Yeah, exactly. Which feels very MMO-like to me, and I love MMOs. I have no problem with that, but not in a Bethesda game. A Bethesda game is not that, to me, anyway. And then, of course, you have the other problem. Like, the aesthetic is really cool at the beginning. Like, the first 20 hours of Starfield is really cool. Like, all the NASA stuff, and the way buildings look, and the way caves look, and planets look. But after 20 hours, it just keeps repeating over and over and over again. And if you're not really into that aesthetic, as I'm not, then it gets kind of boring after a while. But they did something cool to Starfield. Like, recently, they released an update, which actually made it a lot better. Because in this update, you can regulate a lot of options to make it harder or make it easier, or switch a couple of things. So what I did in Starfield, I made the combat way harder. I put it up to the highest level. So it's basically 1 or 2 bullets and you're dead. And then I did the same thing to my character. So if I shoot somebody 1 or 2 bullets, they're dead. And that makes the combat way more fun to me, because now there's actually danger. Health packs don't heal me anymore instantly. So I have to be careful. I have to be sneaky a little bit. I put, like I mentioned earlier, there's no more weight. I put all my weight down. Food doesn't heal me anymore. So again, I have to be more careful. Planets can give me afflictions. I can break my legs. I can sprain. I can have a lung disease, just like in real life. And if you do it the right way, like I think I did, my XP multiplier is times 34, which I'm at now, which means I level up faster and I get more skills and I can use the more fun skills, which I couldn't use before because it took forever to get to them. So that way made Starfield a lot more engaging to me. But that doesn't solve the problems I had with them from the beginning. It doesn't solve the quest. It doesn't solve like the soul-like or the soulless feeling it conveys to me. Another problem are the weapons. Like a lot of people say, like, "Oh, this is Bethesda made so much progress that like the gunplay feels so much better than in Fallout 4." I don't think I agree with that because in Fallout 4 the weapons were distinct. Like you had like the pipe rifles that actually felt like pipe rifles, or you had like the laser musket which you had to window on, and all these weapons. And you could like mod them, and they all had their distinct feeling. While in Starfield, every weapon kind of feels the same to me. You don't really feel the weight to them. The gunplay is better, like enemies react to it more, but I don't think the actual feeling of the guns is that much better to me anyway. But the positive thing about Starfield are the characters and the main story, which is really intriguing. I've never finished the main story, and I will now, which is cool. I'm really interested to see how it goes. The characters are fun. They have interesting backstories, which is something Bethesda is usually not very good in. So that's another good thing they're doing. So I'm really interested to see the end of Starfield, but I don't think this is the game that they said they were making, or I don't think this is the game that Xbox wanted it to be, even though they pretend they are. Because I'm going to finish Starfield, hopefully this month, and then I'll never get back to it. Even if they release the DLC next month or the vehicles or whatever, I'll never get back to it. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. And then you have Fallout 4, where I get back to every other month, or Skyrim, which I've completed a dozen times, or Oblivion, which I can't wait to get back to. So I think that's a problem for a Bethesda game, even though it's not a problem because it's sold, of course. But that's where I think the main difference lies. But I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. Or you haven't played it, Brad?
I played 11 hours of this game.
Wow.
And I wasn't too hot on it, especially because it was a technical nightmare, especially on PC. Like, I quit the game because it was running like shit, and like the NPCs were... I've told this story before, but I was in an area like on that the cyberpunk planet or whatever city, and they were something I was stealing out of a guy's like vault or something, and the guy was staring at me as I was stealing it, literally staring at me, and I took it and nothing happened. His guards didn't do anything. I left and I come back, I shot them in the head, the guards, no reaction, no nothing, started killing people. I killed a couple of them, no reaction from anybody. I was like, man, fuck this game. I'm out of here, dude. How could I be shooting all these people in a Bethesda game and nothing happening? That's
just very buggy. That's
I was out in the city just shooting a machine gun and no one was like reacting. I was like, dude, I don't know what's happening in this game. Yeah. And of course, like occasional NPCs going fucking crazy and shit. I was just like, dude, I'm not playing this right now. I'll come back. I am debating coming back when they have the expansion. But if I don't enjoy that, I'll probably never return to the game ever. Because I'd rather play the other games I haven't played from them instead, like Oblivion and Morrowind. I'd much rather play those games.
Sure.
So yeah,
they are better.
Starfield is not for me right now.
I played, according to my app on PC for Xbox, I played 64 hours of Starfield. I played it the full way through. I did a couple of the factions. And I've been a fan, not like a hardcore fan or anything, but I've played, Bethesda games my whole life. Well, as long as I've been playing games that are, more substantial. And I liked Starfield, but at no point did I ever feel like it was a Bethesda game, other than the bugs and some of the jankiness and the way that you're, when you're interacting with a character you move in. I thought it was a fun game.
How do you still have the face zoom, man?
You can turn that off, by the way.
Got rid of it.
Oh my god!
Got rid of it.
Did they?
I was like, dude, how is this still a thing in your games?
Yeah. Well, they did that because they wanted to harken back to Oblivion. They said that beforehand, right, Gene? Like they said they wanted to do that.
But don't all their games do that when you talk to someone? Which ones don't?
Skyrim doesn't do
that. Fallout 4 didn't do that. Skyrim didn't.
Are you sure? Are you serious? Let me look at this.
Fallout 4 definitely didn't do that.
Okay.
Fallout 4 has like a dynamic camera, which I wish they had in Skyrim. I wish they had in Starfield. That would be cool.
Yeah. But I liked it and I had fun with it. But as soon as I was done, like I thought, like, oh, maybe I'll go do New Game Plus now, or maybe I'll go do New Game Plus whenever I'm done with the game. And then I got to the end and I started New Game Plus, and I was like, nah. And I thought maybe I'll go back and clean up some of the other factions, that I didn't do. I was like, nah. So maybe it was just, the time period that I was in, and it just, I was done. I had played it I played that 65 hours in not very many days. So it was, a lot, and I've been looking forward to it, but I just don't know. There's something there that's missing. And I think, Locke, you're right about like, yeah, it's not unique to this game, but when you are interacting with someone and then they just disappear and they're gone forever, or when you have something like Brad happen where, something immersion breaking. I didn't have that happen. Matter of fact, I think I had the opposite problem where there were sometimes I didn't do something and they were after me. Like it was almost too penalizing for me at points. So I enjoyed Starfield. I don't know if I'll ever go back to it. I think maybe, Skyrim was good out of the box. It was good out of the gate. Don't get me wrong. But 5 years into Starfield, some of the mods, some of the improvements, some of the other stuff they made that game, cemented it as, one of the greats, if it wasn't already cemented that way. Mm-hmm. So maybe I come back to it someday and try out some new content, try out some new mods or something. But yeah, I can't say I disliked Starfield, because I definitely didn't, but it wasn't what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And that's maybe as much of a me problem as it was a them problem. But when you set expectations for a game and the game is not like that, that's the problem. That's the problem. It wasn't a bad game. It just wasn't what they said it was going to be. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be because of what they said.
Cool. AJ White wrote in, "Hello, Summon Soy Boys. This question is mostly for Locke. I bought a Series X almost exclusively to play Starfield. Longtime BGS fan. And to say I was underwhelmed is an understatement. Have they added anything to the game that makes it worth revisiting since launch? And what else can the game use to make people return? I personally really think it needs more handcrafted or varied dungeons. You can only explore the same mining facility so many times before your brain rot sets in. Thank you, boys, for the endless content. So, Locke, anything new they've added that's good, like substantial?
They made it less, this is going to sound stupid, but it goes a long way. They made it less annoying.
That does go a long way.
They didn't really add new things to it to make it better, but they did make it less annoying. Like they added the map, the weight limit, exactly, Gene. The combat is a little bit more refined. They made it a lot less annoying than it was. But they also can't really fix what's wrong with the game. Like this is not a Cyberpunk situation where the game is buggy and the skills don't work and you gotta fix it that way. No, the problems I have with this game, because a lot of people love this game, but my personal problem with this game can be fixed, and that is that it's not Skyrim or not Fallout or not Oblivion. So you can fix that. And in his case, because he said he played it and he was very disappointed, right? Because he wanted more handcrafted content. They are adding that. Like the new Shattered Steel, the DLC, is going to be one planet. House Varun, which is stupid that's not in the game.
It's weird that they didn't put that in the game. It's like the most interesting faction, and it's like, why didn't you just put that in the game?
Yeah, exactly. But it's coming in the DLC, one location. So maybe I'm hoping that will be like the DLC for people like me who love the older Bethesda games and are like kind of disappointed. I don't know. Maybe this is a good time to go back to it. I'm happy I went back to it now, so I can benefit from all these little things. But I don't know, man. I don't see the mods doing what they did to this game that what they did with Skyrim. I don't know. Like there's this Star Wars mod that's really cool. Have you guys seen that? Where they basically turn Starfield into Star Wars. Really cool. But again, that doesn't change the core mechanics of the game. So if they can somehow find a way to get rid of all the loading screens, put all the planets in one universe so you can actually fly to them and land on planets, that would be amazing. But the game, that you just can't do that. So I don't know. If you were that disappointed, I'd say don't go back because you're just gonna waste your time.
Interesting.
I was never really bothered by the fast travel stuff. I mean, yeah, the fact that there's a loading screen does suck, but I was always I don't know why, but like it's such a bit, it's space.
Yeah.
Do you actually want to fly there?
Well,
if it's going to be to scale.
What annoys me with that is I don't mind the fast travel at all either, because in Skyrim, every time you open a door, there's a loading screen, and it's equally annoying. But in Skyrim, people could leave their houses and come outside. And in Starfield, everyone is confined to their planet or to their little location. So you have all these hubs. Like the whole game is hub-based, which is not open world. So that's why I don't like that mechanic. But you're right. Like loading screens don't bother me either. But
yeah.
Did your thoughts about Starfield change at all, Gene, or do you? Because you really liked it, right?
I did. I still really like it. As we're talking about it, I'm thinking about it fondly. I understand what AJ is here saying, right? That it needs more handcrafted or varied dungeons. I totally get that. I think that's a very, very strong criticism, and it does. I wish it did have that, and I did find that disappointing. The reason why I like Starfield is because I approach it like a sim game and less of a Bethesda adventure game. Once I stopped playing it looking for interesting quests, and once I started playing it as in, I'm just a spaceman in space. Let me figure that part out. I had a lot more fun. Then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to colonize the moon, a one-man colony. And I started doing that. And I have a whole farm on the fucking moon that doesn't really grow anything, but I just wanted a farm on the moon. That's it. Because you can't grow shit on the moon, right? And then I got really addicted to the shipbuilding. So I have spent maybe 60 hours in a shipbuilding, like that was all I was doing. That was the entire quest line was finding the right ship parts and making sure that I make the Normandy, So, I get that there's no sense of attachment when it comes to traveling, right? I totally get that. I'm a huge Bethesda fan. I love Bethesda games. I want them to keep making this bullshit over and over again, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so tired of Bethesda. It's so outdated." No one else makes games like this, guys. Exactly. So why are we trying to stamp out something that's completely unique, right? Maybe you don't like it, but a lot of people do, right? That said, I get that the traveling distance, there's no attachment there, right? The attachment that I did get was to my ship, right? I actually felt good. Once you actually build a ship that you love and you really like put your thought and heart into, it's obviously the Normandy, but I'm customizing it too, right? And I'm putting my own. I'm filling it with crew. I'm customizing the crew. So I literally have Amelia Earhart as a captain in my ship, right? That's fucking awesome, right? So that's fun. I really do feel like I have a strong ownership of my spaceship. I really do feel like that I'm actually flying over in different planets and exploring different things. Yes, obviously some of the dungeons and the maps are really the same, and I really wish they did put in a couple more instances, especially. And yes, I totally agree that if we can wind back time to fucking 8 years ago and tell Todd, hey, I think 100 planets is a lot better than 1,000. Yes, that they kind of fucked up at the design ambition of this game, right? That they couldn't meet it. So I get that expectations in terms of the ambition didn't meet it. But and I've said this before, and I said this with Manny too on Defining Duke, that when I watched the Starfield Direct, it was I knew exactly what kind of game I was getting. I knew that it was going to be a game filled with segmented like loading screens. I knew that the map was going to be limited. They didn't really say it clearly, but if you really listen to what they're saying, they're acknowledging the limits of the game and also showing the gameplay loop. So it really didn't surprise me. It was exactly the Starfield that I expected, and that's what I was happy. But you asked me if my feelings have changed. They have, and it again kind of goes back to the theming of this episode, in particular the characters. Brad was talking about how people in Overwatch immediately saw Tracer and they started cosplaying as Tracer, right? Nobody's cosplaying as the Starfield characters. You know, no.
They don't have like a visual kind of character, do they? They don't have like a Vault Boy or a very
there's no real like
love.
distinguishing like art aspect to it. Like you know the what do they call it, the NASA punk aesthetic. I do like it, right? I do think that it's interesting and unique, and I like the aspirational space feeling of it. But there are no like unique characters. You got Vasco, your robot, right? And
I did like him.
Yeah, he was cool. You know.
Yeah.
That's it, you know. Like that's kind of all Starfield has. So like in terms of the writing, like I like the themes of the writing and the story, but like the ground based characters, like even the pirate quest line is actually my favorite quest line because of the stuff you actually do in it. And the characters are semi interesting, but they don't quite go there. Like, you know, like, oh, this guy's about to betray the pirates, and then he doesn't, and then the story doesn't really go anywhere after that. You know, it's like it'd be cool like if like there was something more to this, you know, internal like civil war within the pirates organization, but that didn't really go anywhere.
Sure.
Did you finish the pirate quests, Locke?
Yes, I did. I kind of liked it. I thought it was great, but like you said, it doesn't really go anywhere. You know what it reminded me of like the Civil War quest in Skyrim.
Yeah.
But in Skyrim, that actually had an outcome.
Yes.
Like you could decide who would take. Well, I don't want to spoil Skyrim, I guess, but there is an outcome there. And that was so that's something that I missed here. Yeah.
That you're absolutely right. That is one thing that this game is missing from a Bethesda game, right? The game, the in-world game impact of your decisions doesn't the pirates will hate you if you end up going against the pirates, but that's about it though, right? Like the world doesn't really significantly change. In Skyrim, it really did feel like the politics of the world changed a little bit, right? And then in The Witcher 3, they even went further, where it's like, oh, The Witcher 3, you're actually like changing the fate of this nation as a side quest, which is amazing, right?
So cool.
And then so we go to Starfield, and then it's like, okay, Starfield is alluding to those type of quests and like that kind of impact, but then you don't really see it in the game world though, you know, and you don't really feel it. Like you said, Locke, like once you're done with the quest, you just kind of move on, you know. You can kind of hang out in the pirates quests for a little bit, but you know, there's not really a little, like the world kind of dies there once the quest is over, right? So that sucks. But then like I like the pirate quest because it ends in a really cool like mission, you know. You know, I people don't like the space fighting, but it's like you haven't really tried the space fighting really, you know, like try the space fighting missions. It's actually a pretty good space fighter in Starfield. So that's why I like Starfield. It actually does do a lot of interesting things that you don't really see in a lot of games. You know, Mass Effect, you can't fucking fly the Normandy in Mass Effect. You fly it in Starfield, you know. And I made that happen, you know. So like I like the agency that Starfield does give you, you know, the kind of power. It is a power of fantasy in terms of like what you control. So
do you think we'll ever see a sequel, or do you think?
I don't know.
Maybe not in our lifetime, Locke.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Todd Howard's brain in a robot in 100 years from now.
Yeah, exactly, like in the Fallout show. We're gonna we need Fallout 5 and we need Elder Scrolls 6 first.
Yeah. You need Elder Scrolls 6 first. Come on, guys. They showed that so long ago. It's like,
we're gonna be 75 years old when we're playing Starfield 2.
It's like they showed that thing like 6-7 years ago. That trailer or whatever. It's like, all right, boys.
We're gonna be Biden's age when we're playing Starfield 2.
I know, dude. We're gonna be fucking just hopefully more cognizant of everything going around.
Find the quest of the Well, that's how we're gonna be.
Locke, I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it though. Overall, after third time is the charm, I guess this time around.
Yeah, it's still a good game. It's definitely not a bad game. It's still a good game. So
I like that you mentioned Daggerfall. I think if you go into that mindset, then the game gets a little bit more easier to digest. So
yeah.
I've never played Daggerfall though, so I don't really know what that really means.
It's just a game that just keeps going and going. Randomly, it just keeps going.
Revolutionary for its time when it came out.
Absolutely. There's nothing like it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I am curious about revisiting Starfield, I guess, especially the expansion. But if I'm going to play one Western RPG, it has to be Kingdom Come because 2 is coming out and he bought it for me, Locke. So now I feel obligated to play it. You son of a bitch.
There we go. It worked.
All right, everybody, it's time for Sorting It Out. On this segment, we just talk about something that's bothering us in the game industry. They need sorting. Game company, game. human being, perhaps, at the game company. Who knows? Ben, let's start with you.
I'm going to say this is kind of just a general one. Sorted out people who shit on games without playing them. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about anybody who's ever shit on Life is Strange, because that's fine.
That's you.
But no, I'm really thinking about the discourse, and this goes, all different ways, and it really bugs me when I see people just dunking on games for points online.
Sure.
And that goes for stuff like, well, there's plenty of games, but a recent example is Hellblade 2. Now, granted, I don't know that Hellblade 2 is for me. I've watched some people play. I watched you play a little bit, Brad. Mm-hmm. I really liked Hellblade 1, but it just doesn't look like it for me. But I'm not going to go out and trash the game. Mm-hmm. It really came to mind when I was looking at people talking about Concord before the beta even started, talking about how bad it was. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, I think you can decide if a game is for you or not based on marketing. You can decide I'm interested or I'm not interested, whatever. But just the amount, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like the audience knows what I mean. You've seen the people do it where you're like, that game sucks. It's like, does it?
Right.
Have you played it? Do you know anyone? Have you watched anyone play it? Have you, whatever. And I'm not saying you need to spend $70 on a game just to decide if it's for you or not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, shut up. If you haven't played, stop. You can criticize a game. You can say, I don't like this game's look. You can say, I really hate survival games like Gene, whatever. But I guess I'm just saying, sort it out. Stop it. Like it doesn't. It's mostly console warriors that do this.
Yeah.
So that's all. That's all I got. Just shut up.
Get some help.
All
right, Locke, what about you?
Well, I don't want to get you guys in trouble, so I'm not going to name any names.
Uh-oh.
But Saturday or Sunday or whenever the assassination attempt happened, there were a couple of game journalists who were acting really cool on Twitter. One of them tweeted, "Damn, just aim better." Again, I'm not going to say his name, but people started calling him out for it. And of course, he's a big coward, so he quickly deleted it. So I think that guy knows who he is, and I think he knows what he did. So that game journalist he's not a good guy. Let's keep it at that.
Interesting. I don't know which one this is, but
yeah. I don't know who it is either. It's okay.
Yeah, you don't need to name him, but yeah.
You want me to tell you? No.
Yeah. Tell me. Yeah.
I'll put it in the Discord.
Yeah.
I'll send you the screenshot because Jimmy Champagne screenshotted it.
Nice.
Shit.
He sent it to me, and we were both like, "Wow, this guy is really what a douchebag." Here, I put it in the Discord, but you can watch later.
All right.
Oh yeah, I know, man. I had to unfollow him too, like months ago.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, he's a smart guy, but it's kind of like what Ben is saying. Like, you're just hating to hate,
Yeah.
It's just annoying. Yeah, I totally get it.
Gene.
Former game journalist, but it's still kind of somewhat, but yeah, I get it.
Gene, what about you?
I have two sorted outs. One is to IO Interactive and we'll talk about Hitman. But I did not realize how difficult it was to buy the fucking Hitman games.
Yeah.
Apparently on Steam, because and I'm playing the Hitman trilogy on Steam now, right? First of all, I sorted out for DRM. I fucking hate that Hitman has to be online only for the most part, and you can you can play the story missions offline. But as I'm playing it, sometimes I'll disconnect and I'll have to reconnect, and it's like it's so disruptive. So sorted out for DRM in general, right? Yep. But also sorted out to IO Interactive. It's so hard to figure out how to buy the Hitman trilogy, especially if you bought them before. So what it is right now is that they turned Hitman 3, which came out in 2019, I think, into basically the launcher for the Hitman World of Assassination trilogy, which is an amazing trilogy. They're just so good. The best games ever made, right?
So good.
And we'll talk about that. But if you own Hitman 1 and 2, which I did on Steam, it was so confusing to figure out how to just buy Hitman 3 and make sure that both of those games go in. I can't even. There are flowcharts on Reddit that you need to figure it out. I actually didn't figure it out. I just bought the fucking game. Whatever. I can just buy it, and I love IO Interactive, and I didn't buy the 1999 deluxe version. I just bought the regular standard version, and yeah, I know these games go on sale all the time, and I could have waited, but I didn't feel like waiting. I just really wanted to play Hitman this weekend.
Just wanted to play.
Yeah, I just wanted to play a game, and whatever. Like, I love these games, but yeah, sorted out IO Interactive. Like, I wish, like, you know, it really sucks that you just like blasting all the DLC on there and hoping that someone might get confused and just buy your fucking game twice. Like, that's bullshit. You know?
Yeah.
I hate that. Well, like, a lot of game companies do that. But, you know, and also Muduhar, some ordinary gamers, I didn't know, but he actually had a huge video a year ago saying this is the most difficult game to buy.
Oh,
and it was like a whole like 30-minute video on like ranting about like how to buy Hitman, because he loves the Hitman games too. He was like, I fucking love the Hitman games. I own Hitman 1 and 2, and I just missed out on 3. But it's like, how the fuck do I get this? You know?
Yeah.
So same boat as me. I play Hitman 3 on Xbox, but I just really want to play on Steam.
Yeah.
Sort of IO Interactive.
Yep.
Minnie sorted out to one of our readers on last week's Summon Sign on the Elden Ring, the Elden Ring spoiler discussion, who said that I repeat a lot of the comments that my friend Pat Stares At says. First of all, I know it's a difficult concept for some of you guys to have friends, that, you know, but friends sometimes share the same opinions. Number one. Number two, I was playing Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree like weeks before Pat did, and Pat and I talk every day. Whatever Pat said, he was copying me, motherfucker. So,
shit.
Damn. And but that's the thing. Like I'm always like repeating what Pat says. That's what happens when people who agree with each other end up talking to each other a lot. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's also weird because, like, you know, like I hear that a lot with Colin, and you know, like with Dustin and Chris, and they're like, or like even with me, they're like, oh, well, they just agree with Colin a lot. It's like, well, I think it's because we are all friends,
like-minded to some extent.
Like-minded, you know, crazy how there's no conflict, you know, among people who like each other, you know. So yeah, sorted out to people who, I don't know, just don't know what the fuck's up. So yeah, that's my sorted out.
My sorted out is to Xbox. So they have the Game Pass changes. Whatever, price goes up. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm not in this boat, but I can imagine being in this boat and I'd be very upset, or very annoyed, I should say. They've changed the tiers of Xbox Game Pass. They're essentially funneling people into the ultimate tier later down the line for Xbox console players. Us PC chads, though, we get it for $12. Doesn't matter. So you're paying more. You're being treated worse, I would say, financially for playing on Xbox, their own console, further incentivizing you not to get an Xbox. Just like, what are you fucking doing, man? What are you doing, man? You're just leaving behind your core base like that.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't right. I mean, money talks, of course, but
sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be annoyed. So what the fuck? Like, if PlayStation did that shit, I bet so many people would be pissed the fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, Xbox isn't offering anything more for what they're doing. They're just devaluing people who are paying less, you know? And that's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know?
It ain't right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear from the audience. This is from Matt. Hey, Brad and guys. Sorted out title screens. I clicked on your game to play your game, not to open a menu that says press X to start or press X to connect. I already did that, you know, when I pressed X on your game on the dashboard. Fortnite, Disney Dreamlight Valley, Hogwarts Legacy, Far Cry 6, and countless others all do this. Why can't the game just load when I open it? This is an extremely minor inconvenience, and I need it sorted out. As for your podcast, keep it up. Thanks, Matt. What do you guys think about this? Games having title screens, I guess, nowadays. Because, I mean, he is right. You do click on it on a menu.
Yeah.
But he did say it is a extremely minor inconvenience, though. But
yeah.
It's never bothered me, but I get it at the same time.
It doesn't bother me, but I get it.
Yeah.
One button push usually doesn't bother me.
Right.
I do get it, though. It's nice to just be like new game, low game options, whatever. You know, just let's just fucking get right to it. You know?
Yeah, sure. So, I get that. Yeah.
I get that.
All right, this is from Jordan Ray. I got to sort out for Locke. Whoa. Oh. So I finished Baldur's Gate 3 recently, only to hear Locke say it's not a true sequel to the first two games. That statement made me curious enough that I went and bought them on Steam, and I'm happy to say I finished and loved Baldur's Gate 1. Congratulations,
Good.
Locke. You got
Awesome.
another one.
It worked. Yeah.
I've started Baldur's Gate 2 with Planescape, Icewind Dale, Tyranny, and any other CRPG I can find on the horizon. But outside of the combat being real-time with pause, I still don't quite understand the statement that Baldur's Gate 3 is not a true sequel to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I'd love to hear Locke elaborate further. Or feel free to use my writing as an excuse to gush about CRPGs for a minute. Have a good one.
What was his name?
Jordan Ray.
Jordan Ray, hit me up on Discord. I will give you a code for a new CRPG that you're gonna love.
Fucking guy, dude.
No, it's so cool to see people get into this genre because you don't understand, Brett. For like 20 years, nobody wanted to get into this genre, and then Baldur's Gate 3 happened, and now everybody suddenly discovers them and knows how fantastic they are.
Divinity 2 did it for me.
That's true. Yeah, great. Yeah, also a great one. But to answer his question, Baldur's Gate 3, to me anyway, or to a lot of people, isn't a true sequel because it doesn't play like Baldur's Gate 2. Baldur's Gate 3 basically takes place on 3 maps, right? 3 huge maps, but it's basically just 3 maps with like, you can go under them, of course, and there's some other hidden locations you can get to, but there's 3 maps in a small area, right? Baldur's Gate 2, I'm not going to say you get like a whole country, whole continent or a whole country, but Baldur's Gate 2 takes place over many locations over a long period of time, right? There's 21 characters or 21 companions in Baldur's Gate 2. Each has their own quest, and your party is 6. Baldur's Gate 3, depending on if you play evil or not, there's 10 companions in total that you can recruit over multiple playthroughs because you can't get them all in one playthrough. Your party size is only 4. And I think the main difference between Baldur's Gate 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 is that Baldur's Gate 2 has like this epic feeling. The whole story is like, I really don't want to spoil it, but it has like world-changing ramifications. And Baldur's Gate 3 also has that, but Baldur's Gate 3 is more internalized. So in Baldur's Gate 3, the story you play out is more personal. You have the tadpole in your head and you have to do something about it, and so do your companions. While in Baldur's Gate 2, it's more about like, are you gonna fuck up the world or are you gonna make the world better? Or you see, in Baldur's Gate 3, you see the consequences of your choices, but they're always really segmented in one location or in one particular area where the characters remain. While in Baldur's Gate 2, the consequences of your choices change the entire game. You can pick, for instance, between 2 factions in Chapter 2 or Chapter 3, and that changes where you end up and how you get there and how you get your strongholds. Baldur's Gate 2 is also, I want to say, much bigger in not only in scope, but also in time to play. I can easily put 300 hours in Baldur's Gate 2. Baldur's Gate 3, you have to kind of finish it in like 120 hours, I would say. And then, of course, you play multiple playthroughs, so your time racks up. But Baldur's Gate 2 is just on a more epic scale. And what he also said is the real-time with pause is like an aspect of Baldur's Gate 2. Like they changed that to turn-based for this one. I don't mind it. I like turn-based, but for a lot of people, that was a turn-off. For a lot of people, CRPGs is real-time with pause. Again, I don't mind it. I thought it was cool. Baldur's Gate 3 is an amazing game, one of my favorite games of all time now. But it's not Baldur's Gate 2.5, or it's not a true sequel. To me, maybe to him it is. But I think it's awesome that he's going back to Baldur's Gate 2, and I really want to know what he thinks about it. So hit me up after you're done with it.
There you go. Nice little happy story. Locke's infecting more people with CRPGs. As you should, though. They're great from what I've played of them. I'm sure there's duds out there, of course, like any genre, but
sure,
I really do respect that genre a lot. I think it's really good. Okay, keep it up. Fuck, wrong tab for Dustin. Here we go. Keep it up. Ben, let's start with you.
I'm going to say keep it up, Elden Ring streamers.
Oh, shit.
And that's a little bit of a weird one, but for as long as Elden Ring has been out, 2.5 years now, and even more so, especially like in the last 6 months, more people have been getting into it, of course, but I've just consistently liked watching people play Elden Ring. And the amount of different varied play styles and reactions and, types of approaches to things as they go is just always been cool to see. And like the community is, probably really strong right now, especially with the DLC out and with I think it was Kai that really started the reinvigoration, but it never died. And I just love watching. I've definitely, most of the time I watch streams like on my, I know this is gonna make, I'm a real neckbeard now, but on my third monitor, most of the times I'm just have a stream up on my third monitor while I'm working on there too. But I've probably watched 5 or 10 times more hours of Elden Ring than I've played, and I just enjoy it. But I'm glad the game has not died out as far as streaming it goes, and as far as people watching it goes. And I don't know, keep it up, Elden Ring streamers or people streaming Elden Ring, even amongst other things. It's gotten a lot of more people into the genre, and even though it's not like my diehard favorite genre, it's just a lot of fun to watch, no matter if you like playing it or not.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Lockmort, what about you?
Well, first of all, Ben is absolutely right, because I didn't play the DLC. I watched you play the DLC, Brad, and that was really fun to me, because I just didn't have the time to get to it. But that was really fun. So Ben is absolutely right. It's so much fun to watch people like discover what was in there, as you did. But my keep it up is for Team, I hope I pronounce this right, Team Folon or Team Folan. Do you guys have any idea who those people are? No. Those are the people working on Fallout London. Fallout London is a total conversion. The mod, is a total conversion mod for Fallout 4, which brings the game to London. Original story, original voice actors, original locations, of course, everything handcrafted. They have a whole team working on it. And the original plan was to release it on the 23rd of April of this year, so a couple of months ago. But as you know, Fallout 4 released their next-gen update. So that set their development team back God knows how long, because they had to take into account like the new code and the new next gen update, of course. So they had to delay it. And recently, the rumors are that they can't get it to work. So what they're gonna do possibly is ask people to roll back the last update, and then they can roll it out. So I feel really bad for them, because they have such a cool concept, such a cool idea. They really put years of work into it. You can watch the trailer on YouTube. The trailer looks amazing for Fallout London. So I just want to give them a shout out and say keep it up, because if they figure it out, that game is going to be amazing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gene.
Keep it up?
Yeah.
I don't really have a keep it up, I think.
It's okay.
Keep it up to Donald Trump for not dying, Being out there, Honestly, keep it up to Donald Trump for like I can't, dude. He's such a content demon, man. I can't believe it. Like,
yeah, he is.
You literally almost got shot, and your instinct right there is to tell fucking Secret Service who's trying to drag your ass away to tell them to fucking. Well, first you tell them I need to put my shoes on.
Yeah.
If you listen to audio, he really didn't want to leave his shoes, which I get. Sometimes you just don't want to. You don't want to be walking barefoot, right? He's such a vain person that he needs to have both shoes on,
Mm-hmm.
But then to tell Secret Service stop, and then so he could pose to the camera and fight, and we can get those amazing pictures. Like, there's just like it's undeniable that this is one of the best showmen to ever live. Truly.
Yeah.
Love him or hate him, but it's undeniable,
Yeah.
That's why there was these tweets of him like on The View or whatever, and he was like just gossiping with other girls about their boyfriends and why they're not married, and like he's very entertaining and fun, and people are like, why the fuck can he just keep doing this? Because he's great at this,
right? Yeah,
and he watches and it's like, he's actually a really really great talk show host,
Mm-hmm.
like
yeah, totally.
But I'm glad that he's not dead.
Yeah.
To be quite clear, I'm so glad that didn't happen. So,
my keep it up is just a little more general in the sense of the Nintendo Switch Online. I don't like that you can't buy games on there, but they have put a lot of really good games on there, particularly like the Game Boy Advance games I was thinking about recently. I played through Zero Mission not too long ago. Great game. Right. Fusion's on there. They have Golden Sun on there, which I really want to get to.
Oh,
so I'm really happy they've put a lot of those classics on there and saved a lot of probably saved me money from having to buy them again, even though I did buy some of them right before they got announced. Like I bought Golden Sun. Then they're like, oh, now it's coming to this. And I was like, fuck, spent money on it. But I'm still happy there's a lot of great retro games on there. And anytime you get old retro games on modern platforms, I always support that. So good job, Nintendo. And you could say the same thing to Sony too, and Xbox, of course, with Jeanne d'Arc. That Joan of Arc strategy game coming out. I know a lot of people love that game, so that's cool to see that coming back as well.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping Game Pass will just be filled with old Activision Blizzard games.
Yeah, it should be, right? Yeah.
Once that happens, like the timing of this cost increase is so bad because it's like, they're not offering anything. If they once they actually offer that shit, if they ever do, then it might be worth it. I might get back into the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Who knows?
Yeah. Crash games, that'd be great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was always like hoping they would add World of Warcraft to Game Pass, but they probably never will do that.
Mm-hmm. That would be amazing
because they make too much money off it.
Yeah.
All right, this is from Haven Mather. A big and hearty keep it up to Neon Falcon. I've been loving Trails through Daybreak, having played through most of all the other previous titles. Ys 10 is also coming out this fall, and the West is almost caught up with the Japanese entries. I'm glad the company seems to have really hit its stride. Yeah, Neon Falcon, people love a lot of those games, Ys, and the Trails games people absolutely adore. So yeah, I'm glad the fan base is eating good and that getting caught up with the Japanese releases. That's very good. So hell yeah.
I still need to finish Ys games. Ys 8 and 9. I started both and I haven't finished both.
Yeah, I've only played some of the Vita one. I don't remember which one that was, but I've only played a little bit of it.
Might have been 8.
Yeah. All right. This is from Dixie Normus.
I don't know why it took like 2 seconds for me to get that.
It's all right. We all get there. Keep it up to Firewalk, honestly. I was skeptical at first, but also realized Twitter isn't real life. I played for an hour on PS5 for free and found enough to justify the PC purchase. Great gunplay here. Roster feels balanced. Hope others feel the same. Yeah,
pretty much.
I mean, seems like people are enjoying the game, which is good. So we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah.
All right, Lockmore, or I'm sorry, Ben. Let's talk about Once Human. I'm really curious about this game. My girlfriend's been playing this. I'm pretty sure a lot. I don't know. It looked like I was like, another zombie MMO game.
Yes and no, and mostly no. So I was playing The First Descendant, which is not something that I'm going to talk about in depth here, but and then Once Human came out. I had been in beta a couple times, but I didn't check it out, and it was immediately good enough for me to just be like, okay, I had enough problems with The First Descendant. I just uninstalled it right then, and it was free, so it wasn't that big of a sacrifice, but still. So The First Descendant, it's like kind of set in the future. I think the base story of it is there's like an invasion from outer space that has somehow transformed the world into like something nightmarish, I guess you could say. And I'm still not really sure on the whole plot, but there's like stardust that's changing all the beings, and I think that's what's turning people into zombies. And you're a metahuman, so you're like somehow the alien substance has formed you. It doesn't matter. The story is not important, I guess, really. But like it's got a story. Right. So really, Once Human is more of a survival crafting game, but it has a lot of MMO aspects to it as well. And as you know, I love survival crafting games, so it appealed to my interest. The first thing you're going to notice as soon as you start this game up is that you're in a big shared world. So that's where the MMO comparisons come from, for sure. Basically there's a ton of different regions and a ton of different worlds within those regions, but everywhere around you is going to be other players. And of course, when they build their structures or their houses or whatever, you're able to see that in the world. And depending on how your settings are, they're going to either be you'll either be able to access them and work on them with them, or depending on if they have it set so you can't. There's also PvE worlds as well as PvP worlds, although in the PvP world you have to do PvE, and in the PvE worlds there's an option that I haven't gotten to yet. I've probably got 6 or 7 hours in the game, something like that. Not a crazy amount of time, maybe a little more, but there's the option to do some PvP as well. So that's interesting. But I like this game as compared to a lot of other survival crafting games. I like survival crafting games where you literally start out with your fist. Think Minecraft. You start out with your fist, you go up, you punch a tree, you work from there. But what this game does is you basically start out and you already have those basic things you need to start chopping down trees and digging up rocks and stuff like that. It's not a ton of time saved, but it feels like I'm immediately into the action. I'm immediately into doing what I came here to do. And then the whole idea or at least so far of what I've played, the whole idea is you go into these different areas. Of course, different areas have markers on the map that'll tell you should be probably level 5 or level 10 or whatever to go into this area. You go in, there's the ability to snap your fingers and find out where all the chests are that have stuff in them, or supply crates, or it highlights the stuff on the map so that you can see things easily. Or not in the map, in the actual world, so that you can see things easily. And you go around, you collect stuff, you kill zombies, and sometimes there's these big creatures as well that are there. And it's a loop. You go, you get supplies from them. Of course, there's copper and ore and everything else around the world that you can go and harvest so that you can continue to craft. But really, you get most of your higher end supplies from just continually going into these towns, raiding them, and beating a little mini boss in each one. And of course, there's lots of side quests and everything like that. And basically, the loop is you play the game, or you play the initial game. You build up enough that you got a gun or whatever. You got some melee weapons. You go into a new area. You totally wipe it out. You collect all the stuff. You beat the boss. You go back. You can build more to your world, get better enhancements, then go to the next spot. Of course, it's got a lot of replayability in those areas because you can go back and just farm areas. And you do have to farm some areas pretty hard for different drops and different types of materials. But that's the loop. Like I said, I've got under 10 hours, whatever it is, in the game. So I don't know that this is one that keeps doing the same thing over and over again. But with the added story mission to it, and the fact that it is a little bit more like an MMO, I think it has a little bit more longevity. You have the ability, of course, you can be in the world with your friends as long as you both choose the same server. But there's also, I don't remember if they're called guilds or clans or what it is, but there's the ability to not only become friends with people in your world, but also to join a group as a part of them. And you can work on things together. You can go do raids together. And when you go and do the boss raids, which are actually somewhat instanced, I say somewhat because I think they're technically in the world, but they're closed off to everybody else during the time you're in them. You can choose to open it up for matchmaking and have other people join you if you prefer. Okay. So yeah, I want an MMO that I can get into. I've played so many MMOs over the years. Some of them I've played for hundreds of hours. Of course, WoW way back in the day I played a ton of, but there's always something that drives me out, and there probably will be with this one as well, or I just get tired of it. But the fact that this one has survival crafting mechanics and there's some crazy stuff you can build, and that's the hook for me right now. Is I like the MMO aspect of it. I like going and doing the missions. I like exploring the new areas. But the fact that it's a builder is pretty cool for me. Now, I've heard some discussion of wipes happening, and I think that is their plan, although they're getting a fair amount of pushback from people saying, please don't do wipes. So that might deter me, from playing it eventually if I play a couple sessions or a couple time periods and then there's wipes and takes out everything I built. Not because that's not okay. There's a lot of games do that. Rust does that, whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's what's making me play this game. That's what the appeal is to me, is having the building. I will say that in some areas that are pretty strategic to go in and do raids there and stuff, you see literally next to each other for a long distance, just people building houses right next to each other. So you get kind of landlocked to an extent. And you basically just every house you walk along and there's just houses. And of course, many of those people aren't going to ever play the game again. They logged in for the weekend that it came out and they're not going to come back because it's not a subscription. It's free to play, whatever. So I can understand a wipe from that perspective that you want to kind of clean that stuff up. But man, if I grind for a couple hours for some materials to build something and then that thing gets taken away, that kills me. That's tough on me. So, but yeah, Once Human, it's I didn't realize this. Apparently, it's on iOS as well, which in my mind, an iOS game is a mobile game you play on your iPod Touch and use your fingers. I know that's not what iOS games are anymore. You've got full blown AAA games on iOS now that people mostly play with controllers. But it just feels weird to me that this game is on iOS as well. But it's free to play. If you're interested at all in MMOs and survival games, then give it a shot. Give it a whirl. Yeah.
Is it early access or is it
no, it's out. Yeah, it's out.
Oh,
it's
cool.
out. Okay.
I think I mean it's free to play, and there's a lot of people playing. Maybe it is early access. I don't think it's early access. I'll look that up.
What's the monetization like?
That's the crazy part about it, is that for a free to play game, I know there is monetization, and I know that there are things that you can buy if you want to. But I played this game for, like I said, somewhere between 7 and 10 hours, something like that. And not a single time did the game prompt me to buy something.
Interesting.
Which I think that like there are cosmetics and stuff that you can buy, and if you buy them, you keep those even after the wipes. Like they straight up tell you that. It's not early access. It doesn't appear to be, by the way.
Okay.
But the I don't know. I don't think there's any like speed up this building process, speed up this crafting process. Maybe there is, but like I think it's all cosmetic, really, as far as I can tell. But I also am not someone who would explore, like, let me find out what I can buy. That's not
right.
Usually it's like I find out what I can buy because I can't go any further because I haven't bought it. And maybe that will be the case. But so far, like there's a tab, I think, that you can buy stuff in, but I have not ever once been prompted or felt like I was being held back from doing something because I hadn't sunk any money into it. So that may not be good for them long term, but for me, for right now, it's pretty good. I like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it sounds interesting. I know people have been really enjoying this game. A lot of people are playing it, like you said. So I am curious about that and the longevity of it, especially with the wiping kind of angle to it. Like you said, lots of other games do that, like Rust and stuff like that. I think Tarkov has some sort of wipe thing too. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely interesting game. I'm curious about it, Ben. But for like you, I'm like, I would be kind of bummed if my stuff got wiped, I guess.
Yeah.
If I'm like trying to progress through something, like because you said there's like a story kind of thing that you're going through, right?
There is a story, yeah. And I don't know how they deal with that with the wipe, because a lot of games that have wipes don't really have a lot of story. So that'll be interesting. But
is it like Enshrouded, like that other game you talked about a couple of episodes ago? Is it like that one?
No, I wouldn't really.
Also had a story, right?
Yeah, it does have a story, but I think in that game the main mechanics of Enshrouded are more about building. It's definitely more like Once Human has the building and crafting aspect, and that's what's appealing to me the most about it. But that's not the focus of it, if that makes sense. Oh, okay. It's definitely a robust system, but it's not like the focus. But I'd say with Enshrouded, that is the focus more, and the story is more like we need a reason for you to go out and explore the world. That's why there's a story in Enshrouded. The story does seem to be, or at least, the missions and grouping up and everything seem to be more of their main focus than and opening new areas and all that kind of stuff. And the survival crafting comes later. But it does have all the survival mechanics Gene hates. Not quite as irritating as what he was describing, but you do have to eat, you do have to drink, you do, whatever. Keep your stamina up, that kind of thing, which I like that in survival crafting games. I don't like a stamina bar in shooters or something like that. So
yeah, I was looking at this and I was like, man, this looks interesting, but I know you get hungry in this game. So it looks good though. It actually does look good. So
no, go ahead.
The interesting thing about it is it's not that you have to consume different types, but anytime you have a full ring, for, let's say you get thirsty, you got to drink. If you have a full ring, you get bonuses rather than just getting a lot of games. It's like, well, if you get below this level, then you're negative 20% stamina, just as an example. With this game, you have the negatives, but you also have the positives of being full. So you actually get, advantage for not keeping your ring at 75% all the time. If you're 100% down to probably like 90, you get, plus X amount of stamina for 20 minutes or whatever. So
that's cool. Still makes me anxious, but I get, I like the incentivizing of staying full. So like gamifying it. That's smart.
Yeah,
right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Seems like one day whenever we finish V Rising. That's my fault, by the way, because I've been occupied with other stuff. That's all my fault.
I haven't bugged you about it. I know you got other stuff you're playing, but I do want to get back to V Rising eventually.
I beat Elden Ring, so I can make some time now.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds so enthusiastic. You're so inviting, Brad. You can make time to
I can make time
to play a game with a thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You better be up though, Locke.
I'm always up for you. For all your shitty games, Brad. I'll play all of them.
Okay, Locke, you always say that we trash you when you're not around. You're around, so I'm going to trash you. Locke, your way of playing V Rising is you log into the game, you sit in the upper floor of our castle, and you work on other stuff while we talk, which I'm fine with. I love just hanging out. Don't get me wrong. You haven't actually played V Rising.
That is true, but that's because you know why that is. That's because you two, or maybe Brad by himself, plays it by himself and progresses so far that I can't keep up anymore. And then I'm just like, well, I can play this now for 20 hours, or I can get some of my work done and just hang out with the guys, and then rest on the
none of them
floor,
can play because it's like my game, my
yeah.
character,
we can only play if Brad's
so
logged in.
we can only play when I'm on.
What we should do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say they're just at the mercy of me right now.
Well, I've been thinking about this, Ben, and we've talked about this before. What we really should do at some point is make like a Rust server and just have everyone from LSM in there. And just people like Gene, you too, of course, everyone can just log in and log out and just have like a full-scale war in like one server. That would be so cool at some point.
That would be fun, actually.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
I bet we could buy a dedicated server or something, but yeah.
Yeah, that could be fun for a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Let's talk about Luigi's Mansion 2 now. Gene, you've been playing this.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you posting on Twitter about it. Talk to us.
Yeah, I was playing it when Trump got shot at. I famously tweeted, head empty, Luigi's Mansion only. And then that was like 10 minutes after Trump got shot. And I logged online and I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, holy shit.
Luigi's Mansion 2. I don't want to talk about this too long because I'm probably going to talk about it at length on Punching Up.
Sure.
But Luigi's Mansion 2 came out a couple weeks ago. Me and Jeff Grubb have a running joke, the both of us, where we always reference Luigi's Mansion 3 whenever anyone talks about AAA game sales. Because, if you don't know, Luigi's Mansion 3 is a much more popular and best-selling game than many of your favorite AAA games,
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's like, I just love this series so much. It's just secretly popular and well-loved. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD came out on a Switch. And it is a port of the 3DS version. It doesn't do a lot of refinements. It is kind of like maybe closer to a Skyward Sword type of port, as opposed to like Paper Mario, The 1,000-Year Door. That is like a full-on remake, right? That's like a Last of Us Part 1 style remake. New textures, new feel, everything, right? This one is just like they just threw in more polygons and added a couple more animations, but it's pretty much the same deal. So I get that people. Also, Luigi's Mansion 2 is kind of like the most hated, the most dunked on.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. And if you guys don't know, it's probably because it's for the 3DS. And the mission structure for Luigi's Mansion 2 is that it is level-based. It's like a Devil May Cry game where you are rated on your time spent, the damage you took, and the amount of money or souls that you took, basically, and the amount of ghosts that you took. And you're rated on that. The interesting thing about Luigi's Mansion 2 is that it is actually 5 mansions, not just one. And you go across each of these 5 mansions in a level-based structure. Each of them, you go into a mansion and you have an objective. Once you finish that objective, like finding a key or whatever, then Professor Egad is going to pull you out. And so I can get that feels disruptive. For me, I don't mind it as much. I like level-based structures in games. I always kind of find it a little bit comforting. There's a huge reason why I still prefer Demon Souls over a lot of the other games, because I just like the segmented structure of it. And I like the fact that there's 5 mansions. Luigi's Mansion is just one mansion, right? So that's why it feels really intimate and cool. And like each Luigi's Mansion has their own vibe. Luigi's Mansion has that one house, and it's really closer to like a Resident Evil, Spencer Estate, right? Luigi's Mansion 2 is like, here's 5 Spencer Estates. Each of them are different themed. The second one is like the plant theme one, and the fourth one is like the ice zone mansion. But it's cool. Like, there's a uniformity to level design that I really, really appreciate in each of these mansions. Imagine a Resident Evil game with 5 mansions, right? I guess that's what Resident Evil 6 tried to be, with like the 4 different campaigns.
Yeah.
If only it was actually like good level design in each of those campaigns, as opposed to whatever we got in Resident Evil 6. But I finished it. I beat it in about like maybe 10-12 hours. Solid game. I don't know if I'd recommend it at $60, but the problem is this is a Nintendo game. It's never going to be on sale until like maybe like 2 years later. It'll be $40. If you can wait, I would probably wait to get it then. I would probably recommend for people who are interested in Luigi's Mansion, and we have a great question coming up, and I'm kind of saving some of that for some more Luigi's Mansion talk. But if you are interested in Luigi's Mansion, I would recommend 3 over 2. That
3 is great. 3's great.
3, you played 3, right?
I played all of them.
Probably still the best looking Switch game. It's the closest thing to actually looking next gen. The physics, the cloth physics, the lighting, it all looks really, really excellent and realistic. It's like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart for the Switch, basically, in terms of the quality. The cutscene quality is amazing. The animation is brilliant. You can tell, like, when they made Luigi's Mansion 3, like, oh my god, like we should just make a Mario movie, you know? Because Luigi's Mansion 3 was kind of like a Mario movie in terms of the quality and like the animation and the gags and everything. But Luigi's Mansion 3 is one big hotel. It's 15 floors and a basement. Each floor has their own theme. So like there's one floor is like Egypt. Like it's just like it's cool. The whole floor is just sand and there's a fucking pyramid, you know, and then you can vacuum up all the sand. It's so cool, you know. So that kind of ambition is missing in Luigi's Mansion 2. So I would you know, I don't know, if you're the kind of gamer that likes to scale up in terms of like, you know, like you want your linearity in terms of like scaling up, then maybe start with Luigi's Mansion 2 and then go up to 3. But honestly, 3 is really a really good starting point, and it just looks so gorgeous. Part of the reason why I like Luigi's Mansion 2 more, though, is because I don't really like the Luigi part of
I think for 3, yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know, Luigi is the twin that Luigi can make, which is crazy because when Luigi goes active, Luigi just becomes unconscious. He's like that. So, like, he's able to like transfer his conscience over to Luigi. Awesome concept, and I love Luigi as a character. I'm just not like just like my hatred for, not my hatred, but just like my dislike for like hunger meters. I'm not a huge fan of puzzles where you have to control another character and like that character needs to like step on a platform and blah blah blah. You know, I know Eco is like that, but I think Eco did a lot better than, or just a little bit more naturalistic. Whether instead of like Luigi needs to stand on his button and then you can control Luigi and go around here, like that kind of stuff kind of like trips me up and kind of breaks pace for me. So Luigi's Mansion 2 is just all sucking in exploration. So that's why like it's just all like core Luigi's Mansion gameplay. There's a lot of puzzles, but the puzzles. I also joke that I actually looked up walkthroughs for Luigi's Mansion 2 before I ever needed to do anything for Elden Ring. I think that's true. I think Luigi's Mansion 2 is a little bit hard to figure out, where the game doesn't really tell you like, hey, you should be interacting with this item or anything like that. You really gotta like kind of press all the buttons. You gotta vacuum up everything to see what everything does, and that's kind of how you experiment. But yeah, I actually had to look up walkthroughs, Colin style, you know, on some of these puzzles, you know, just. Yeah, literally Colin style. I'm just like fucking watching power picks. I'm just like repeating what they do like an idiot, you know. I'm not calling Colin an idiot, but that's how I felt like, you know. Like something I just wanted to power through some of these objectives.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's like whatever. So.
Yeah, I liked. I've played all 3 of them, and I did like 2. I mean, $60 is a little much for me, probably, at least right now. Maybe around Halloween or something, I'll be feeling it a little more. I could see myself playing around then, but. Yeah, I'm glad to see Luigi Mansion still going, especially after 3. 3 was great, so shout out that little Luigi boy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's probably going to be an ongoing series with how well Luigi's Mansion 3 sold. 13 million copies. That shit sold more than Ghost of Tsushima. You know, that's crazy. Yeah.
I played the first Luigi's Mansion way back when it came out. I didn't play the second one, and then I've been watching my 10-year-old play Luigi's Mansion 3, and I'm watching him like, when can I play? Like, he bought it. It's his game.
Cool.
But I'm like, when can I play this?
It looks cool. It's a good ass game. It's got really, really good moods, really good, amazing music. There's no game like it,
Yeah, it's a good ass game. All right. Snack Squatch wrote in, hey guys, this question is mostly for Gene. I really enjoyed Luigi's Mansion 3, but have held off on getting to HD for now. A lot of reviews have stated the controls are wonky due to it being a 3DS port, and it's not a big upgrade in terms of graphics for an HD port. I was wondering, what has your experience been, and do you feel like this port is worth full price of admission? Thanks for all you do.
We already talked about a price, give or take, whatever. I agree that it's not a big upgrade in terms of graphics for an HD port. It looks good, right? It looks solid. And as I was playing, once I went back to Luigi's Mansion 3, then I realized what the big gulf in the graphics were. Luigi's Mansion 3 looks like a next gen game, and Luigi's Mansion 2 looks like a Switch game.
Sure.
So, but in terms of the controls being wonky, I haven't read any of the reviews. I'm a little surprised that they say the controls are wonky because it's really the same Luigi's Mansion. It's a lot better than the 3DS. Because the 3DS, you had to use your C stick. You had to use your C stick clitoris to move to move Luigi around, or the nub. Or if you don't have that, if you just have the regular DS, then you're fucked. Then you gotta hold the square buttons to turn around. Luigi's Mansion 2 has modern controls, so I'm not sure what people are talking about or what they're controlling, what they're complaining about. It's very omnidirectional movement. They offer the options too. Maybe they're talking about how you got to aim up, but they have a button for that, and and it was the same button as the 3DS, but you can also use the 6 too. So yeah, I'm not sure what the control complaint is about because it controls fantastic. So.
Stephen Campos wrote in, Gene, from a taxonomy perspective of video games, try to explain to us what genre you would categorize Luigi's Mansion series. For me, I would say Ghostbusters-like because of the similarities to Ghostbusters and Metroidvania, because you're backtracking and using new abilities to unlock things in the old areas, especially in the first game. Kids horror because it does play like a horror game, but for kids. Paranormal Activity because it does involve ghosts. Do you agree with these taxonomy tags for Luigi's Mansion, or whatever taxonomy tags would you give it?
I love this question. I'm so glad that you picked it. I can go on for days about the taxonomy of Luigi's Mansion, but I think everything you said, Steven, is cool, right? But I want to keep it to strictly like video game genre terms. This is a point and click adventure game. This is Nintendo's point and click adventure game. You are going into a house. It's like Myst or Riven. You are going in and you are finding things in a room. You're finding interesting things in a bathroom, and you click on it. You touch it, and you find what that does. It might be a key. It might be a solution to a puzzle. But this is Nintendo's adaptation of a classic point and click haunted house adventure game. It reminds me of like Maniac Mansion back in the day.
Really?
NES too, right?
Cool.
But it adds that physicality of Nintendo and Mario, like Mario needs to feel like good running around. Mario needs to feel good doing certain actions. So, the vacuum is kind of like where the action RPG kind of like part of it comes into play. But the vacuum is just another method of interaction. You're either sucking or blowing, and those different actions, like there are fans, so you either suck the fan or you blow the fan, but the things will whirl a different way and you'll get a different result. So I really that's why I like Luigi's Mansion so much. It is a mixture of like Zelda, like Tears of the Kingdom, like the physicality, or the Mario game, mixed with an adventure game or Resident Evil, and Resident Evil is my favorite series of all time. And if you mix Resident Evil and Zelda together, then theoretically Luigi's Mansion is actually my dream game. So
damn.
I think I just think of Luigi's Mansion as a classic like adventure game, like a PC style adventure game. And I think it's with Nintendo's twist on it,
Cool.
So I saw a lot like pop up when I said that.
Yeah, well, I grew up playing Maniac Mansion. That's my first video game, or one of my first video games ever. So as soon as you said that, oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I have to play this. I've never played Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, give it a shot. It's like a slow paced adventure game. It's really, really comforting and really cute. Luigi's like walking around a mansion, like singing along to the theme song. You know, like there's so much character, like dripping with character. Concord has no character. Like Luigi's Mansion is like, this is a character, you know.
And would you advise to start with the third one, or do I jump into the third one? Or
I think the third one. I think you'll love the third one. You know.
Okay, well, I'll do it right after this, and if I don't like it, it's your fault. But I'm very.
I'd be really, really interested to see what Lockmore thinks about Luigi's Mansion. But like the graphics are gorgeous. Like it's really, really hard to find anything to complain about. I think.
Sounds really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really interested.
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion's awesome.
Yeah, definitely start with 3. For most people, I would just say start with 3. So it is worth the $60, whereas the HD port is a little bit debatable. I agree with that point. So 3 is absolutely worth the price of admission.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome. and it's also very replayable too. It's a pretty long game too, like 20, 30 hours. So it's a big hotel.
3's pretty long, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right, Lockmort. Let's talk about Fable. Fable 1. More specifically.
Fable 1, yeah. Well, we've all seen, or you've all seen the trailer for the new one, of course, for the new Fable, right? And I know, I don't really understand why people were pretty negative about it. I guess because the woman wasn't very beautiful. But that's always been a staple of Fable. Fable's always had like
pretty ugly people.
Characters. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they're British. Come on.
Those are your words, but yeah. So when I saw it and when I saw the reaction to it, I remember playing Fable all the way back in 2004 when it came out, and I loved it so much. So I figured, well, maybe that would be an interesting video to go back to Fable 1 and just see if it holds up to today. So I did. So I bought Fable Anniversary on Steam, and I went back to it. And as soon as I started it up, it's just so charming. Like the music, the way the intro happens with like the painting, the voiceover. It's very British humor too, but it's so charming. I completely forgot this, but there's no character creator. So when you start Fable, you're a little boy. In Fable 1, you can pick between a boy and a girl. You can in Fable 2 and 3. But in Fable 1, you play as a boy. Starts off very simple. You're in a little town called Oakville. Your family gets murdered. You get rescued by the Heroes Guild. They basically let you grow up, and then you're part of the Heroes Guild, and you perform heroic deeds out in the world. It's all pretty simple. But what makes Fable so cool is that there's an aging element to it. So your character, every time you level up, so every time you make one of your skills go higher, you age 0.7 years. So if you want, you can like grind your character like in Elden Ring or in Dark Souls and age up really quickly. I think the cap is 65. That's the maximum age you can get. But unlike in other games, you actually see your character aging, which is so cool, which is such a cool mechanic. It's so weird that not many other games have done that since. But the story in Fable, I don't want to spoil it because I think the new Fable is kind of going to harken back to it. If you saw like the new trailer, there are a lot of elements from Fable 1, which is really cool. I'm really so interested in it. But Fable 1 is just such a charming game. I really love my time in it. I'm 12 hours in. I think you can complete it in between 12 and 20, trying to do everything, of course. But it's so fun. And another cool aspect of Fable is the good versus evil aspect. If you perform good deeds, your character's hair grows blonde. If you do bad deeds, he grows bald. I don't know why they did that.
Black, actually. And I think they get like horns, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or their skin goes white, and then you start seeing electricity. Like their veins start like lighting up. And
you get like shit. You get like dark eyes, and kind of like in KOTOR 2. Like your character really changes to the actions you take, which is so cool. But not only that, it really aged well in the way that it performs. Like the way that it runs, the way that you run around, it's also charming. It's also simple. And so I'm not a Nintendo guy, but I can imagine that kind of like a Nintendo game. Like it's just so nice to play and fun to play and nice to see.
It's delightful.
Delightful. Yeah, that's the perfect word.
I can still hear the music in my head right now, you know?
Great soundtrack, right? Like really, like it's like a fairy tale. But the one sad part about Fable 1 is that the combat did not age well at all, actually. I remember playing it like 20 years ago, and I remember that thinking back then as well, like, this game is awesome, but this combat kind of sucks. And it still kind of sucks because you don't really have any moves. You don't really have anything to do. You can pick between magic, a couple of spells. You have like lightning, fireball, and a couple of others. Bow and arrow, shoot arrows, of course, and then sword and shield, or a two-handed sword. That's basically it. That's all you can do. And you lock onto an enemy, and then you just swing your sword or you roll out of the way. And that's basically it. And then you have one bigger attack, which you can hit them with, and magic the same way. So combat-wise, it didn't age really very well, but it's still fun to play because it's so stupid easy, really. There's a harder, if you start a game, there's two difficulties. You've got chicken or heroic. And I started on heroic, and I was like, what is this? Like, it was like Dark Souls quality, like super, super hard. Like, I couldn't do shit. I kept dying. So then I was a pussy, and I restarted with the chicken, appropriately called chicken. That's another cool thing. People in the game call you to your actions. So if you start a game like kicking a chicken, for instance, and they call you Chicken Chaser.
Oh, Chicken Chaser! I love people.
So cool. And then you can pay someone to give you like a new title, or you can do good deeds, and then people are happy with you. Bad deeds, people are scared of you. Your looks change by collecting cards and then going to a barber, and then you can select the card you want, and then he changes your look. So it's such a cool, very charming game. Fable 2, which I won't be able to get to because it's not on PC, first of all, and second of all, Xbox never released a 60 FPS patch, which is insane. Was a lot better, I remember, but I'm having so much fun with Fable 1 that I don't really care, because Fable 1 is amazing. Great game. If you have an Xbox or if you have it on Steam and you want to feel good about your day, or you want to have like a good time for a couple of hours, go play Fable. It's so much fun. I love it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I played it back, in the day a couple times. I played about, I don't know, probably 6 hours of it, maybe a year and a half ago. And I just remember being like, while I'm playing it, I'm like, man, I kind of don't want to finish this because I know I can't play Fable 2 without getting out my old Xbox.
Yep.
Like, it's just, there's nowhere on PC to play it. It's crazy. I know you can you play it on Game Pass?
You can, but it's so annoying.
But only for Xbox.
Well, yeah, and they made it. They gave Fable 1 60 FPS. They gave Fable 3 60 FPS, but 2 not, which makes it unplayable to me. Yeah.
Damn, that's a shame. They should have done a Fable collection, dude, before the new one comes out. Hopefully they will.
I mean, Xbox should do a lot of things, but they just don't fucking do it, though.
Yeah.
They don't.
Locke, are you playing the Lost Chapters, or which one? Yes, just the original.
No, I have the anniversary edition. So that has the Lost Chapters. Lost Chapters was originally DLC. I think one of the first DLCs ever, maybe. So that's incorporated in it. So you get to this island, this snowy region where you have a lot of other quests. But yeah, the story of Fable is so, I don't want to spoil it, but it's so charming. It's so cool.
Fun.
It's so, it's
fun. A unique world and with really interesting characters,
I've told a few people in the last couple of years who have never played Fable, I'm like, you need to go back and play Fable. And even though I don't care about trophies or achievements or whatever they're called on Xbox, some people do, and they're like, I won't play it because they still have broken achievements on Fable 1. And one of them maybe it's Fable 2. One of them has to do with the Connect, I think. There's an achievement. There's a Fable 2,
Fable 3, maybe.
There's an achievement that you can't get without using a Connect. And I'm like, first of all, that was dumb to ever put that in there. And two, why haven't they patched that out? Like, make some other way to get it. It's crazy.
Well, Fable came out at a time when they were really beginning to push to Connect too. That was when Milo, remember Milo?
Oh yeah, good old Peter Molyneux. He probably told everybody if you use the Connect, you'd get a real gold bar in real life. That was just part of what the tech they were bringing.
That guy's amazing.
I
wonder what he's doing now.
He should run for president. He should run for president.
Oh yeah. The last thing I heard him do was that cube game. Remember that?
Yes.
Everybody had the chip at the cube, and then the guy at the center would win something, and then it just disappeared, and you never heard from him again.
Yeah,
scam, dude.
He did a game called, I think it was called Goddess or something like that. Before that, spelled weird. I don't remember how it was spelled.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're
right. It was like a builder. I want to say it was like a builder. I remember thinking it was fun but not good.
I mean, he makes good games. You know, he's also a liar. He's not like a good liar like Miyazaki, but he's also like the worst liar. You know,
Yeah.
But he's definitely a liar.
Yeah, Goddess. 22 cans. I think that's just the company.
Okay. Are they
sold early access to multiple titles, including Goddess Wars, and The Trail. I'm trying to see. The game never left Steam early access as December 2023.
Yeah.
Both Goddess and Goddess Wars were removed from the Steam store.
Goddess is on. I remember playing it on mobile.
He's in 2023 he announced he's starting work on a new game called Project Moat, which is set in Albion, the setting of the Fable games. How is he going to do that when is Microsoft just giving him the okay on that?
Maybe he owns like the lore behind it, but not the IP.
Maybe
something like that. Because
that seems weird. Maybe.
Isn't Albion like a British thing? Isn't that like a just a name for like a fantasy land or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Is it just like Valhalla or whatever? You can just call it whatever.
That could be.
But isn't there another game, Albion? Like isn't there a game called that, like an MMO or something?
I have no idea.
I think there is
Albion Online or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I just googled it. Albion Online. Yeah.
Okay. I guess it's just it's a generic term for it's like calling your planet Gaia. Like it's fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, have you ever played Fable, Brad? No.
Yeah, I've played Fable 1, 2, and part of 3. I quit 3 because I didn't like it.
Ugh.
But I did like the first 2. I did. Very much so. So I am excited for the new one.
Yeah.
I played all 3 just 2 years ago again.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my memory is very fresh on all 3 games. I adore the Fable series, dude. Like,
hell yeah.
I played the shit out of Fable 1, 2, and even 3, which I acknowledge also like halfway sucks, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I have all 3 on back compat. Dude, my old saves from back in the day are still on Xbox Cloud, man. You know how in Fable 3 they had that whole king mechanic where you're supposed to like amass like riches and wealth. If you don't know, in Fable 3, a big part of the game is that you're supposed to amass like a treasure vault full of wealth, right? Because you're becoming king. And because you own all this real estate. So I logged back into Fable 3 and I had like a couple trillion gold. because of all the years of rent that I was charging the people of Albion flooded into the game, and it was amazing. I was like, holy shit. I fucking love Xbox is stupid, but Xbox also does some crazy cool things, Like I'm grateful for Xbox for keeping my Fable 3 save and having all Fable games back compat. But it does suck that they're not on PC. They both of them should be. It's crazy.
Well, 3 is on PC and 1 is on PC too. It's just 2.
Oh, 3 is on PC? What the hell?
Yeah. It was. They took it off of Steam. Like it was on Steam for a long time, but then I don't know why licensing probably, and they took it out again. But I played 3 not that long ago, a couple of months ago on PC on Steam. Because if you bought it at the time, it's still in your library.
Yeah.
I think maybe it had something to do with games for Windows Live.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Windows 10 or whatever. Windows Live. Oh,
annoying stuff. Who was that actor? Wasn't there was like a big actor in 3 who wasn't big at the time, but he's huge now. He was
in 3?
He was like the main guy in Assassin's Creed. Played the killer. Is another one, Prometheus. What's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
Ben Kingsley?
No. That's Gonli, right?
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender. That's the one. He played the villain in there in 3.
Oh, hey, I do own Fable 3 on Steam. All right.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I have 7 hours played time in this game.
Yeah, I played.
I'm going to say something controversial. I like Fable 3. Okay.
Yeah, Ben looked upset when we were talking shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love Fable 3 too. Like, it has the best combat. It does, definitely.
And I actually like the city management stuff that was in it.
I loved it too. I liked it too. I honestly, the only thing I really hate about Fable 3 is like the ending, right? Like how you actually have to choose the ending. And I hated the menu screen where you where you have to actually navigate in lore, and like the loading time took long. Like that was stupid. But
did you have to press X to at the game menu to start the game?
Yeah. You want to talk about the game pressing X for a game menu? fucking try Fable 3, and it's like try dressing up, like try changing your clothes in Fable 3. You actually have to walk out into the dressing room and then find the clothes you want, like switch it through, and then like it's awful. But otherwise, I love the game. So
if you try to play Fable 3 in Belgium, you'll get the French version automatically, which is very annoying because Belgium consists of 2 parts. We have the French part and then the normal part where I live. And in the normal part, we play games in English, of course, but the French part translates everything. But the game, because it sees that you're in Belgium, thinks that you're in the French part. So if I play it on Xbox, I play it on PC, it automatically switches to French, which is super annoying.
Yeah. Damn.
Wow, Fable 3's celebrity voice cast was crazy. So it had Michael Fassbender, Stephen Fry, who was always the narrator for the Fable series, right? But he was huge. Yeah. There's Ben Kingsley, and there was Simon Pegg, right? And also, what was it? John Cleese too. So it was like a huge British cast, you know.
That's crazy.
All-star cast for.
I wonder what Peter Molyneux did to convince them to all be in it.
Yeah,
promised them some crypto scheme shit, probably. Something before then.
Ricky Gervais will probably be in it too. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Microsoft is too woke to put Ricky Gervais in the game though. So I don't know.
That's also true.
Yeah,
that's probably true. Yeah. All right, let's talk about our last game. Gene, Hitman, the trilogy. You've been playing. You were inspired.
I tried to tweet about this over the weekend, and people were like, "Are you sure this is the right time to be tweeting about this?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm just asking about a video game that came out in 2016 to 2019." You know, here's the thing: whenever real world incidents happen, like in my life, and also like in like the news and the world, like I actually tend to play a video game that reflects that. You know, so like. Mm-hmm. You know, like when October 7th happened, right? And like the current conflict in Gaza started happening, right? I booted up Phantom Pain, you know? I was like, fuck it. I feel like going to Afghanistan and just fucking up some shit, you know? If there is a big pink person sucking people up, I'll be like, I feel like playing Kirby, you know? If that ever happens in real life.
So, if that ever happens in real life, we got different issues
problems
going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so if that happens, there might be a little bit different, you know. But like Fallout 3, like, you know, if I really want to feel like DC, like after January 6th, dude, I played Division 2, you know, straight up.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
straight up, you know. I like Division 2, but I'm not like a huge fan of the game, right? But I was like, I want to play the Division 2 because there's an insurrection 2 blocks down from me right now, you know. So yes, after an assassination attempt by one of the 2 leading the nominees or candidates for president, I felt like playing Hitman, you know. And also they were joking about like Obama calling in a hit on the Biden family, so Biden can step down. So like even then, I was already kind of like in a Hitman mood, you know. Do you guys have you guys played the Hitman series?
Yeah,
what's your
yeah.
You guys played the Blood Money?
Yeah, that's the best one.
Yeah.
Actually, I have played that one.
Yeah, I think Blood Money actually might be the overall best one. But that one ends in the White House where you have to assassinate the vice president, and you actually have to sneak in a sniper rifle into the White House. You know, it's incredible. So yeah, it's been a few years since I played the Hitman games, and I completed it all on the Xbox. And that's where all my progress lives. But I really wanted to try it out, and I've already complained about the buying on Steam. So yeah, I played through Hitman 1, and now I'm pretty much halfway through. I'm pretty much almost done with Hitman 2. I am now at the second to last level. I love these levels so much. The Hitman trilogy World of Assassination levels are incredible. There is so much content within this trilogy, especially if you just buy Hitman World of Assassination, and the always online thing isn't a problem. They're like, the menu actually just breaks it down to location, not even story levels, right? Like if you want to hang out in Spain and check out all the different objectives here, you know, or you can do the story mission too. But these levels are so incredible. Like I actually feel like I've been there, you know, like to some of these locations. They actually feel real life. Like the level design feels so natural. You know, like you go into this one South American place and it's like you have to find the maelstrom, and we have no idea what the maelstrom looks like. So like there's a lot, but there's these two other characters that you need to kill. And then I completely forgot who the Maelstrom was. And so I got excited all over again. I was like, wow, who the fuck is the Maelstrom? So like there's this whole mystery that I have to solve by going into this level. And like I know I have to kill the other two, and I do that. And I was like, wow, I still have to solve the mystery of who the Maelstrom is. And you figure that out. And it's so satisfying, you know? In Hitman 3, there's a whole mansion that's in the British countryside. And it plays out like Clue, or what was that other British Knives Out, right? It played out like Knives Out, where it's a whodunit. There was a murder in this mansion, and with these very rich people that's everyone gathered, and you get to play as a detective. You get to pretend as a detective, and you solve the murder case. Cool. It's incredible stuff. You want to talk about adventure games? Like that's what the Hitman games kind of feel like too. Like you're trying to solve the puzzle of trying to kill your target. You know. I don't even know where to start. Maybe is there a question? There's so much to talk about with the Hitman series.
There's still content coming out for Hitman 3, or I guess World of Assassination.
Yeah. The annoying thing about the Steam version, or okay, here's a random minor inconvenience sorted out. I hate it when games change like their art, like in the launcher.
Oh, like the thumbnail thing?
Yeah, the thumbnail, like Halo Infinite always changes, Call of Duty always changes. You know, that's what happens with live service games, right? For Fortnite always changes. Yeah. So Hitman World of Assassination is kind of like a live service. And right now, the art for Hitman World of Assassination isn't cool Agent 47. It's him facing off with Conor McGregor. Because the new season of Hitman right now is that you get to assassinate Conor McGregor. The cool thing is that, you know, they made this whole storyline where Conor McGregor is in a fight with another billionaire, and they're all going to be in a secret match on Epstein Island, you know? Because I don't know if you know, but in Hitman 2, there's a literal like Epstein Island level with the Ark Society, and you go there and like these rich assholes with masks like doing unscrupulous shit, and you're just going to murder them all. It's fucking fun, you know? And then so now they stage this Epstein Island with Conor McGregor versus another in-game character billionaire, which is cool, you know. But it is annoying that the art for it on Steam is just Conor McGregor versus Agent 47 right now.
Yeah,
I did play that mission; it was fun, but you had to be online for it too, which is interesting.
Yeah, I always liked the Paris level in Hitman 1. It's like the fashion show one.
Yeah.
I always thought that one was so fun, dude.
Yeah,
and the mansion you're talking about, is that from 3?
It's from 3.
Yeah, that's like one of the best Hitman levels ever, in my opinion. Yeah. It's so fucking good, man. Yeah, these Hitman games are so good, man. They're excellent video games.
Even the music, I love the music in them too, because it makes you feel like James Bond almost, which fits because they're making that next,
James
right?
Bond. Yeah.
That's very exciting. I'm glad you brought up the music lock. I love the music in the World of Assassination trilogy. It does feel like very spy and like epic. Like this is an epic assassination like spy film, right?
Yeah.
I miss the Jesper Kid soundtrack of Hitman Blood Money and Hitman 2. Do you guys not Blood Money, Hitman Contracts? Do you guys ever play Hitman Contracts?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it is the darkest, edgiest one. The menu screen, you want to talk about good menu screens? The menu screen is him just at a window, and it's just like dark and lightning. And he just has a sniper rifle, and like half his face is hidden in the shadow, and this fucking like epic dark like trip hop beat just enters, you know, just like dark synth, you know. It sounds so epic, and it's like fuck, you know, like I wish Hitman went back to like its super edgy phase. You know, it looks like it looks like my dad is about to beat me, you know, like that's how menacing the title screen looks, you know, like it felt that hard, you know.
Like Contracts was more action focused. Remember, like people didn't like that one very much because it was so action.
No, that's Absolution. Hitman Absolution.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Hitman Contracts is technically Hitman 3, and that was the one where they kind of like replay like the Hong Kong missions, and this was the one where it actually plays like The Professional, where it's bookended, where he's in an apartment, the sniper rifle, right, and then the cops he's surrounded by the cops, and that's the intro level. the last level is you have to escape that whole situation, you know? And it's literally like the professional where there's a SWAT team outside your fucking apartment and you go outside the window and you get a SWAT team member, put on that mask and you just walk out the door, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All these cops are just around you. They're like, where the fuck is he? And you're just walking out the door and the music is like, it's so fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Hitman.
When you pull something off in Hitman, it feels really good. When you're like walking out of the scene undercover, like you're just saying, it feels so good, man. You're like,
the feeling is like you did it and you just walk around. No one even knows. Look at all these NPCs. Fuck these people, you know? You know, they don't even know what I just did, you know? It's like that meme, like they don't even know that I just killed, you know, the producer of this TV show or the Jim Morrison of this one, you know? And all these like weird, interesting characters that you have to murder too, you know?
I just love how many different ways there are to do all the different hits.
Yeah.
And just the I think it's in the mansion level where you're solving crimes where there's the fountain outside that you can utilize for the electrocution and like
during the photo session.
That scenario alone, there's like 7 different ways to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much replayability in those missions.
Yeah, last night I did a kill that I never did. I never knew that I could stuff the cocaine dealer into the cocaine machine, and then on the other side of the cocaine machine, there was a blood covered cocaine brick.
That's crazy.
That's funny.
That I picked up and I killed someone else with it. You know?
The one thing that kind of annoys me in the world of assassination, but you can fix it, or at least I fixed it. I always turn off all the hints that you get, or all the little pop-ups. I turn off everything. I just want to do it myself. I don't like it when they tell you what to do.
And just immerse yourself in it and just play with the AI.
Yeah.
You know,
you got to play around a bit.
Yeah,
Hitman's not a game you should like look up stuff right away.
No,
you should definitely go through it. Scrappy shit goes wrong, you just fucking go with the flow as you go through it. But like later down the line, you can look stuff up or whatever. But first 2 runs, just go in and experiment.
Well, remember that's how they made it. That's how they made the first one, especially because it was episodic. Remember?
Yes.
They released them in episodes, so you could like really get to know the levels.
Oh yeah, 2016. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. They drip feed out the levels. So it's like, okay, well, we got the Paris level, right? That's why we're so familiar with the Paris level, I think, Brad, because it's like we just played the shit out of that when Hitman came out.
Maybe, yeah. I remember it was like a controversial kind of thing when that happened originally.
Yeah.
They're gonna.
I think it's kind of like at the tail end of like when game companies were experimenting with the weekly, like the Walking Dead style. You know, and it turned out it was only good for the Walking Dead, like strategy. You know? Like it was bad for like literally every other game, you know, including Hitman. You know.
Yeah. I think we all recommend Hitman. Hitman's awesome. If anyone out there's curious, I was just trying to see how much it is. It's like on PlayStation, at least, it's like $30 for Hitman 1 campaign. But altogether, I think the World of Assassination is $70. But that's like 3 full games.
That's 3 full games. Hitman 1, 2, and 3. And it is the best trilogy of games you can get right now, probably.
On Steam, there's a free starter pack, which I don't remember what that is. I don't know what that is.
I think you get the levels from 1.
Or I think that's just 1, probably, yeah.
I mean, that alone is hours and hours worth of content, and you'll know if you like it.
Yeah, Hitman 1 itself is probably still one of the best. I think Hitman. Well, they're all good. Like I actually can't say which one's the best one. You know, they're all excellent. You know.
Yeah.
They each have like peak levels. You know, Hitman 3 has that mansion, the mystery mansion one, but it also has a Hong Kong level, which is like so beautiful.
Yeah, so good.
Right. And then Hitman 2 has Miami.
Level.
You know, it's got
the
like
racetrack.
It's got like the NASCAR racetrack.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
so cool.
That was fun.
That was so fun. And then there's also Suburbia. That's the level I'm on right now. So I'm actually in small town Suburbia, America, which is great. That was a repeat of the Hitman Blood Money mission, which is also great too. And Hitman 1 has the Paris section and Japan. You know, oh my god. Hitman Blood Money. It was the one where you actually have to cut a sushi the wrong way, and you kill the Japanese businessman in the sushi restaurant. So good. What other game will let you do that? You know, there are so many different ways to actually kill people.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's so good. That's why it's like, dude, I'm talking about Hitman. I'm not talking about like presidential assassination, the video game. You know, like we're killing so many different types of people in so many different ridiculous ways. You know.
Yeah.
There was also that famous giant bomb clip where Jeff Gerstmann was trying to throw a knife at somebody, and he just kept missing, and it was just. It was like everyone was like freaking out like around him, and it's just like even if you fuck up, the game is very funny. So,
yeah, Hitman has definitely a good level of humor to it somehow.
It is extremely. It is an extremely funny game. If you fuck up, it's funny, like accidentally. But if you do things the right way, it's also really funny. You know, I had to exercise like a digging site, and then so. You know, Agent 47 just literally like dons like cultural appropriation like shaman gear. Like he's just a white guy, dressed up in tribal gear, and he goes up to a whole bunch of Mexicans and he's like, "Oh, you are now free." And it's like this fucking guy, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so good.
When do you think we'll see James Bond? Because they've been working on it for a couple of years now.
So they're taking so long, dude. Oh my god, it's
gonna be amazing.
You could have just made another Hitman game in that time, you know, because they made Hitman 1, 2, and 3 so fast.
Yeah,
because these games all share the same assets, you know. Although I did notice though that Hitman 3: World of Assassination they retrofitted Hitman 2 and 1 to feel like Hitman 3. I actually have Hitman 1 on Steam. You want to talk about Steam codes? That Hitman 1 is delisted, right? Because you can only buy World of Assassination. But I bought Hitman 1 on Steam so I can re-download it. I played that again, and it's like the movement is a lot more slower and deliberate in Hitman 1 than it is in 3. It's fine. I don't really have a big deal, but I did notice that there are mods for Hitman 3 to make it move like Hitman 1, which is a little bit more, you know, animation priority and everything. I get that. I actually did like that a little bit better, but 3 is fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do want him like move a little, like he moves a lot faster, like when he walks, like the walking speed. But that's fine though. Like these are huge maps, so you kind of want to just like hustle along too, you know.
Yeah. All right, boys, let's end the show like we do always. Some questions from the audience. If you want to send in a question, head on over to patreon.com/laststandmedia. I put a thread up every Saturday letting you know what's going to be on the show, who's going to be on the show. You can post your submissions there. I read all your comments on there, so if you're curious or want to submit, please do over there. All right. This is from Sean Mason. Greetings, Summoners. Next week, I'll be embarking on my first ever trip to Hawaii, and I couldn't be more excited. In the spirit of tropical adventures, I'd like to know, what's your favorite tropical-themed video game? For me, it's definitely Mario Sunshine. I have fond memories of exploring Island Delfino, collecting shine sprites, and blue coins. Best, Sean M. Favorite tropical themed video game? Sunshine is one of the best ones I could think of. Totally, the vibes are so good in that game.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. It's like my number one, baby. One of the best platforms ever made, right there in that game. Check that game out. It's on Switch. It's expensive, but it's fucking worth it.
I've got 2, and they're very different from Sean's or yours.
Yep.
I'll just briefly mention them. The original Dead Island.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Just Cause. It's maybe slightly outside tropical, but it's still got some tropical.
I was thinking Just Cause. too. So, yeah.
Yeah, great picks.
So good.
Far Cry 1 for me. Far Cry 1.
Ooh, yeah. Great pick, dude.
Crisis
Great
also,
pick.
right? Crisis.
Oh, Crisis, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Crisis. What a time. What an era.
Yeah.
What an era.
Mine's simple. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Oh, yeah. I haven't gotten to it yet still.
Come on, guys. Oh, you haven't played it yet? Oh, my God. Yeah. I mean, it's the Hawaii game. It's the Hawaii game.
Yeah.
And potential game of the year. Potential game of the year.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to play it. I mean, I like those games anyways, but I just needed a break in between all of them.
It's such a long game. Like if you need a break between long games, Infinite Wealth is not the game to go to.
Yeah, I just needed a break from Yakuza games.
Oh yeah, dude. Like the Yakuza burnout is real. But yeah, Infinite Wealth. Have fun.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's amazing.
I've heard nothing but Hawaii, Sean. Let me know if you need any recommendation. I'm actually. It's funny that you bring this up because I'm actually starting to plan my trip to Hawaii later this year.
Ooh, what island?
Cool.
Yeah.
What island are you going to?
Oahu, Honolulu.
Oahu.
Holy shit! Speaking of which, one of my ex-girlfriends from Hawaii just texted me. Hey Kimmy, what's up? Anyways, yeah, I'll tell her that I'm going to see her soon, probably. So, but yeah, Oahu, Honolulu. I haven't been since 2016, man.
Oh wow, yeah.
You know,
I've only been to Maui, but it was very nice. I really enjoyed it. Beautiful island.
Yeah, Mario and Sunshine is very Hawaii coded too. You know. Those Delfino people are very like,
yeah, those idiots.
Yeah, it's borderline racist, but it's cool. It's okay. It's okay. It's Mario, so
yeah, it's Mario.
Mario can never really be racist. Mario's right.
No, not yet. Give it time. This is from Game Simp. Gents, by the time this episode releases, I will be midway through the second day of my new job. Recently graduated, I am now entering a field of work that requires 65 hours a week on average. However, these hours can range from 40 hours during slow periods to 100 hours during busy periods. If you're entering a job of this nature, think law, finance, healthcare, etc., how would you realistically approach gaming? For example, would you stick to one large single-player / multiplayer game, chip away at small single-player games, or drop the hobby altogether? All right, we got to help GameSimp out here. What would we do?
Maddie taught me a very valuable lesson in this because well, up until a few weeks ago, I also always had very irregular hours and I worked 24/7. What Maddie told me is to schedule 2 hours every day, the same 2 hours where you just take a break and you play a video game. And that really worked for me to get back into that groove of actually playing every day. And he also advised me to stick to one game and not jump from game to game. So one game until you finish it, 2 hours a day, and then until you're done, and then jump to the next one. And that really helped me.
Yeah, it's not bad advice sticking to one game, just seeing it through. As long as you're having fun, you know. If you're fucking miserable, I guess you should probably move on from a different game. Ben, what about you? What do you think?
I think a lot of it, I mean, he asked, you know, would you prefer single player or multiplayer or whatever, but so maybe he's open to whatever. But I think it really depends on what you like. Like if you're someone who could find an MMO that appeals to you and just play that, like you got content for years right there, no problem. And if you're someone who doesn't really like multiplayer and you want to play a single player game, then I'd say play one until you either beat it or you're tired of it and move on to the next one. I'm very much like anti-backlog mentality. And not that, I have games in my backlog that I want to get to, but like being held back from playing what you want to play because you feel like you have to play something you missed. And so I'm very much like either play something that you like and play it all the time. Just because you're not a well-rounded gamer doesn't mean you're not having fun and you're not playing games. Like you're literally playing a game. Who cares if you're well-rounded, whatever. As long as you're not a commentator, you know, that's different. And I'd say, yeah, just play what you want to play when you want to play it. If you feel this week like you want to play God of War, then play God of War. And guess what? If you get tired of it and you decide you really want to hop into something with some other people, then, I don't know, go play World of Warcraft or something. Like, I know that there's a big mentality on I got to complete this game and then before I move on to the other one. But I'm just very much like, why are you playing games? To have fun, to be happy. Are you having fun? No? Okay, play something else.
Right.
And that's just really that's kind of my mentality.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Gene, what do you think, man?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I have a job that takes a lot of time. I don't know. Depends on how your social life is, you know. Like,
sure.
I don't really go out that much anymore. So I do have a lot of time to play video games. Like my weekends, I'm not really like out and about. I'm usually gaming. So it's tough. I don't know. Just just stick with one single player game that you revisit. You know, get inspired by the Dragon Quest ads. You know. Salarymen would come home and they'll be like, man, I can't wait to play Dragon Quest, you know. But it's like Elden Ring, you know, like you're at work and you're thinking about your build, you know.
Yeah,
it's still doable. It's totally doable, man. Like it sounds like you're scared because you've never had a job like this before, but it's fine. You will find time.
You'll find time. Yeah,
you'll find time to play games. If playing games matters to you, you'll find time. No problem. It's not gonna. It's gonna be easy. So
yeah, totally.
Unless you're like an ER physician or something, I guess. But or you're a nurse that's working 15 hours a day or something.
Well, you do. Yeah, you have long shifts, but then you have like a couple days off usually. If you do that. But you'll find the groove. Whatever works for you, you'll find it. All right, this is from future PS3 owner. Shallow Summoners. What was the game from your childhood that was so niche that it felt like you were the only kid in school to have played it? For me, it was Billy Hatcher on GameCube.
Good one.
Man.
I have one.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. It is Kid Nicky Radical Ninja for the NES.
Oh, okay.
It is a game developed by IRM, side scroller, beat 'em up where you're a radical ninja. Kid Nicky in the feudal Japan is the most radical ninjas, and he's training at his ninja school. Suddenly, a passing bird is struck down by an arrow and I'm reading the Wikipedia, and lands at Nicky's feet. Attaches a note explaining that Nicky's girlfriend, Princess Margot, has been kidnapped by the evil stone wizard. Yeah, I don't think I've never heard anyone talk about this fucking game. Nobody at school ever played it. I'm 42 years old. Nobody has ever mentioned this game to me at all. But I loved it.
I mean, it's tough for me to think because there was a lot of games I played growing up that are probably lesser known, but my friends would play it, essentially then know about it too. I'm just trying to think of stuff like I played that like no one really knew about. I remember one, I guess, was Clash of Demon Head, that NES game. Like a lot of people associate it with Scott Pilgrim now for good reason. It's way more popular, but I do remember playing that game. Once I found out it was in Scott Pilgrim, I was like, oh, like what the fuck? I didn't know anyone knew about that game. It's so weird.
Same here too, man. When I saw Scott Pilgrim, I was like, oh, okay. I did not know that that was a game that other people knew about. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I know that reference.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's cool. For me, it's Redguard. You guys ever heard of Redguard?
Redguard.
Oh, the Oblivion or the Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah, it's like the hidden Elder Scrolls game. It's like a third-person action adventure.
Yeah.
From the late 90s, I think, or mid 90s. Because I remember my friends and I were always into Daggerfall and the other and Arena and other Elder Scrolls game, and nobody knew Redguard.
I heard of Redguard. I was like, I'm not playing that.
It was really bad. Really bad.
It was bad. Yeah.
It's awful. I think that was Todd Howard's first big game where he was like the big lead, or if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Ben, what about you? Anything you could think of?
I'm trying to think of anything specific, and I'm having trouble specifically, but I remember in general, like, I mean, I had not all the systems, but many systems growing up, and I had, some commonalities in some games I hadn't played, but really it was when I got into playing more games on PC, which was probably like around 94, 95, 96, something like that. Games that weren't really available on console. And I mean, a little later than that was a lot of RTS games. And I'm thinking of like, StarCraft and the original Warcraft games and Age of Empires. Like those were not, in my circle of people, those were not popular games. And really it all came down to most of my friends. I didn't have a good PC as a kid, but most of my friends didn't play games on computer. They played games on consoles. And I mean, I did both, but yeah, it always felt like anytime I talked about a game that was just on PC, nobody knew what I was talking about in the area I was in. So yeah, those early, especially RTS games, those were not popular amongst kids my age. But I'm a freak, so.
All right. Last question is from Chris P. Hey dudes, I had bought a brand new SSD for my PC specifically to play Starfield and also purchased the $100 edition to be able to play early before release. I ended up hating the game. It single-handedly made me vow to never pre-order another game as long as I live. Can you guys recall a time when you were burned by a pre-order or just let down in general by a big title you were looking forward to? Yeah, I got one. So it was Assassin's Creed 3. Not to say Assassin's Creed 3 is like a terrible game or anything like that, but I was coming off the high of 2, set in the Revolutionary War, really rad time period. I pre-ordered like the super dank edition where you get all the DLC, and I was like, oh, the DLC is going to be like King Washington tyranny kind of thing. I thought that was so cool. And I remember just playing the game, and I was just like, it was all right. Like, I didn't love it. I was kind of let down, I guess, just from after the high of 2. But I haven't played 3 in a long time, so I don't know. But I just remember being like, I don't know if I need to pre-order that shit anymore. Especially when games went like all digital. Mostly, I was like, well, I never really need to pre-order anything again, unless I really want a physical for some reason.
Yeah.
Any of you think of anything?
Yeah. Mafia 3.
Oh, I've heard a lot of this.
It's not good. I keep hearing mixed things. But
the story is great, but the game itself not. Like, it would have been a great movie. The game itself is just like open world.
I played a little bit, but the animations were so repetitive. I was like,
yeah.
There's
like the gunplay. There's no upgrade system. There's no gun system. There's basically no game. Like, you just go from one location to the other.
That's what I kind of played. I was like, I don't know about this. So
yeah, but I still pre-order games every day, so it didn't stop me.
Mine's an easy one. Shenmue 3.
Shenmue 3.
Yeah,
wow.
I spent $300 to kickstart it because I want my fucking name on the credits because I was like, Shenmue. Brad, I told you during the PlayStation Show of Dreams when you guys were all freaking out about FF7 and Shenmue, I was like, yeah, I'm right. I was watching you guys and I was calling my friends like, dude, Shenmue 3, you know, I'm gonna throw out so much money, hundreds of dollars for this shit.
Yeah,
you know, and then sure enough, my name's in the credits, but I've never seen them because the game fucking sucks ass. So.
Oh damn!
Game's awful. It's one of the worst games I've ever played. I can't believe it was the biggest ripoff in my life. Period.
Damn! So. Is it that recent too? How long ago is it?
Yeah, a couple years ago. Maybe 5-6 years ago or whatever.
Damn!
Awful game. Awful. I couldn't even tell you how bad it was. Yeah, I guess the other one is Mass Effect Andromeda because I was kind of looking forward to that one. I didn't really like it, but the gameplay's okay. I've been meaning to kind of go back to it, but you know,
it's probably been cleaned up nicely by now.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I hear that it's pretty good, but it's like it's also on Steam, and like I want to play it on Steam, but it's like with the EA launcher, and so I'm like, I don't know. Never mind.
It's good if you've never played the first 3, but you have the Legendary Edition now. Why would you go back to Andromeda if you can play like one of the best trilogies of all time?
That's true. Yeah, I'd rather play Starfield too.
I don't really think I've ever been someone who pre-orders games unless they're like games I 100% knew I was going to play and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but and maybe not even enjoy, but just like I'm going to play this game either way. I used to pre-order a lot of the Call of Duties and stuff, but no, I've just never been a big pre-order person. And now that, you know, most of my new game purchases, not all, I recently pre-ordered Rebirth and everything, but most of the time I'm buying digital for PC. But if I'm pre-ordering for console, it's definitely because I want like, you know, a Steelbook or something that's coming along with it.
Some collector's thing.
I can't think of any time I've ever really been burned by a pre-order just because I don't pre-order much, almost ever.
Right. Did you pre-order Duke Nukem Forever?
Probably. I can't remember that for sure, but I think I probably did. But again, I knew I was going to play that game.
Yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah. Legendary. I mean, I guess he's not saying that you know you're not going to play it, but that you hate. And Duke Nukem Forever, as one example, was not a good game. But I still really liked it. Mm-hmm. It was not a good game at all.
Yeah. Weird times, man. Duke Nukem
Assassin's Creed 3, I remember, Brad. I also pre-ordered that too. I also, because I thought, like Colin, I was like, oh, America, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is going to be it. And the game is great. I actually 100%ed it. And I actually replayed it and 100%ed it on the Switch, right? But man, those first 7 hours are, hate them. Hate them is a great character. But the gameplay around Haytham is just so shit, it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah, I
7
would like to
hours of
revisit it.
tutorials, and then hate them goes, and then you have to tutorialize all over again once the actual main character of the story enters the fucking story. Like ridiculously paced, you know. And the game director of this guy was the same guy who steers Stadia, you know. So
yeah.
and he's also the same guy who says, "Oh, women are way too hard to animate, so that's why we don't have women."
Is that guy?
Literally the same fucking guy throughout history, you know. Like Stadia can't animate women in Assassin's Creed, and he also directed Assassin's Creed 3. You know,
So fun. What a time!
guy keeps getting work, you know.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
There's a lot of that's the worst part about society today, man. There's so many like obvious failures, like at the top. And it's like, man, like how'd you get up there? You know, that's crazy.
Yeah. All right, boys, that's gonna do it for this episode of Summon Sign. Thank you for joining me this episode. I greatly appreciate it, and thank you everyone for listening and watching out there. We appreciate that. Before we get out of here, boys, is there anything you guys want to say, or should we just get the hell out?
Let's get out.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Yeah,
end the call.
It's a long day.
It's food time. All right, everybody. Thank you. We will see you later. Take care. Goodbye. Summon Sign is a product of Last Stand Media and Colin's Last Stand LLC and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is written and hosted by me, Brad Ellis. The show is produced by Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. Summon Sign, along with the rest of Last Stand's media shows, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we are grateful for your kind contribution and generosity to our independent endeavor. Thank you.